And hello, everybody. This is Napa Fan here, aka Alexander Graham, and we are here at the Hallowdega Super Speedway. This the 6th annual NNSCRA Hallowdega special event, and it is just as special as it always is here today, with roughly, I believe, 28 drivers in the field for a 94-lap event here for NNSCRA Hallowdega. I'm joined alongside Carlos Zinnerman for the call of today's event, and we'll both be kind of doing a lead call for this race, kind of a bit of a radio-style broadcast with two people. And Carlos, what are you most looking forward to in this 94-lap race here today?
You know, Alex, this is going to be a race of attrition, as it is every single year. Who is going to be surviving at the end of this thing? And I'm looking forward to just some great pack racing. That's been the story here at Hallowdega. And these guys, they're going to have to mind their P's and Q's today. Like, run real easy early on in this race, and then try to figure out how you can get yourself at the front. I've heard a lot from the drivers pre-race saying that they want to hang out the back and avoid all the wrecks. So we'll see how this pans out.
It definitely should pan out interestingly. I will say, though, we got a lot of very solid drivers in the field. Of course, over the summer, I helped call Talladega Challenge for RTG, and a lot of those guys have come over here, including our pole sitter, Bob Seminara, in the number 712. He'll be alongside Bernie Mobbs in the number 90, and as far as I know, this is the first run in NNSCRA Hallowdega for both of those drivers. But of course, if you've watched this event the past couple of years, you'll see a lot of familiar faces as well, like TJ Crampton in the 74, Roger Ray in the 84 starting up front as well. Then you got another RTG driver in Donnie Garrett. The first lap is going to be used to set up the official starting lineup, which I will Joe there on the screen. Bob Seminara and Bernie Mobbs on the front row. Joe DeSpirito, another driver who came from RTG, will be in today's event. But as the starting lineup rolls on the bottom of your screen, they're going to use the first official lap of this race to set that starting lineup up. And we have ourselves a lot of drivers in this race who could easily win this event, including our defending winner, Tyler Mallon, in the number 18. Of course, in last year's event, he dominated the event with help from his buddy Andrew Miller behind him. Andrew Miller is not in this event here tonight, but Tyler Mallon is, and we'll have to see how well he does there in the number 18. But Carlos, with all these RTG guys coming on board here, we've seen how well they run. They run at Talladega every single week. Do you think they might have an advantage on some of these other drivers who don't run Talladega every single week at NR?
You know, the advantage will be there, no doubt in my mind. But with how this racetrack is, 2.66 miles, and it's the same mantra with every super speedway, Daytona, Talladega, and whatnot. Anybody can win this race. You keep your car clean. Sure, you have experience on your side, and when you're talking about those guys, but it really doesn't matter at a track like this one.
It's going to be very interesting to see if that great equalizer comes into effect here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Of course, it comes into effect in the RTD Talladega Challenge and could easily come into effect here tonight. Of course, Bob Seminara is the official pole sitter as we are using this first lap to set the official starting lineup on the racetrack. Of course, it's been rolling there on the bottom of your screen for the past minute, so check to see where your favorite driver is. Two drivers on that list who are not racing here tonight include Charles Belding in the number 28 and the number 25 of Matthew Rodriguez. I believe both of those drivers unfortunately could not make it here today, and they will not be in appearance, which I believe leaves us 28 drivers in the field for today's event. The stage breaks are going to be at lap 20 and lap 42. The point of no return is lap number 90, and it's a roughly 19 to 21 lap fuel run here at Talladega. So they'll just be able to make these stages. Of course, if a caution comes out, that could throw a monkey wrench into the strategy. And the cautions are manual. They are not automatic cautions in the game. The admin for today's event is, of course, none other than Seth Cole, who is driving today in the number 78 machine. I'm going to let you give a quick pick here, Carlos. Who do you think is going to go to victory lane here tonight in Hallowdega?
I'm going to finally give it to the guy who's got a big chip on his shoulder trying to win and just even finish this race. Levi McIntyre, he's got a big chip. He's going to try and get it done today.
Number 99 of Levi McIntyre obviously has had his fair share of attrition in this event before. We'll have to see if that changes here today at Talladega. We're ready to get this one started. Bob Seminara, Bernie Mobs on the front row. We're back once again for the NNSCRA Hallowdega special event, and we're green flag racing here at Talladega.
These guys hit the back straightaway. You see a couple guys trying to make some moves early on. Tyler Mallon going to be stepping outside to try and make a run on the outside line. The inside line is your friend today, folks, as they roll through 3 and 4. And Mallon will slide back in line in third, leaving Bernie Mobs out there to drive with only one guy with him.
And number 24, Joe DeSpirito, right behind Bob Seminara. And Bernie Mobs had nowhere to go there at the start of that race. He's going to fall behind just a little bit. No help in that outside lane. Jessica Shelton behind Bernie right there. But a lot of guys on the inside lane looking to calm things down at the start of this race. Obviously, you don't want to see a lot of wrecks in this event. The fourth annual event in 2018 had, I think, 10 or 11 cautions. We do not want to come close to that record tonight, and there's no reason why we should, especially with these guys running single file right now in that inside lane. They're looking to keep it calm here early on here in this one.
A lot of contenders have dropped towards the back. Carson Gum, Levi McIntyre, Dylan Young, Donnie Garrett, and alongside Cole Beaver and Blake Warren as well, and wanting to stay behind the traffic because they did not want to get in trouble early, but it's not looking like there's going to be much trouble because the top 10 are single files they exit for.
Single file throughout the majority of the field so far here at Talladega as we're about to complete lap number 4. The stage end is lap number 20. As you got Jessica Shelton and right behind her Garrett Sonor in the number 16, but they appear to be the only two drivers on that outside lane for the time being. Back in there, RJ Bishop is on the outside lane. But other than that, not many guys going up to that outside lane and taking advantage of that lane. Of course, not much of an advantage up on that lane at this point. So everyone looking to get to that inside at the start of this race. Bob Seminara pacing this field. It's a very similar sight that we saw a lot in RTG Talladega Challenge over the summer, and probably what we've been seeing in RTG Talladega Challenge so far this fall. And number 712 leading the pack right here, right now at Talladega on lap number 4.
He's got a good friend in Joe DeSpirito running right behind him. Tyler Mallon is set on the third, and a car is around on the front straightaway. It's Rob Evans.
Number 21 going around in the back. We're going to see if this does, in fact, bring out a yellow.
No caution.
And they're going to keep it rolling. Number 21 machine of Rob Evans going to head down the pit lane. The good thing is there will be a stage break.
Actually, I believe
and they are going to slow it down. So our first caution of the night is Rob Evans went around. Thankfully, it was not a major incident. Another thing I did forget to mention at the top of the show, we have realistic damage on the night. So if they wreck, that's probably going to be the end of it. But thankfully, Rob Evans did not hit anything, and he should be able to continue in that number 21 machine.
Rob Evans tonight was filling in for Michael Mormon. We do want to send our well wishes to Michael as dealing with some personal issues right now, our colleague at Flatout Racing Network. And Rob was running around towards the back, and then I think he just spun off the nose of somebody.
Yeah, we'll go back and see what happened once we get clarification on drivers coming down the pit lane. Bob Seminara leading the field down with Joe DeSpirito and Tyler Mount. We'll see if they do, in fact, come down. But considering that the stage end is lap number 20, they should be able to make it the whole way. And they will, in fact, stay out here and let it ride until that stage end. Go ahead and see what happened to bring out the yellow flag here with the number 21 of Rob Evans. Thankfully, it was just a simple spin, nothing too major. But we'll replay this right here and get an idea of what exactly happened. He's right behind Trey Fisher in the 09, in front of the 82 machine of Austin Ogo. I believe Austin Ogo is also filling in for another driver. And right in front of him, I think that's the 30 machine of Matt Watkins. Flipped the apron just a little bit, and that jammed the field up a little bit. Trey Fisher went up, and then the 21 machine came back down. and just spun around, but thankfully avoided hitting the wall right there in the number 21 machine and should be able to continue, albeit in the back of the field for this restart, but still in contention to win this race here tonight.
Very lucky that car did not flip, though. You saw the roof flaps did their job. They kept him on the ground. The back end lifted up just a little bit, but we'll see if he's able to just try and reprogress and maybe a little bit of rear damage to the 21. But other than that, flat spotted tires, and that's it.
See right here. And he just gets spun off the front bumper there of the 82, but as it'll appear, there's just a racing incident there off of turn number 4. Tough break there for the number 21 of Rob Evans, but thankfully he should be able to continue in this event, and all 28 drivers still in this event so far here. So it's been a very calm start outside of that one spin that we had. Of course, very calm start here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Do you think it's going to stay that way throughout the rest of the event here?
Well, we were lucky that it was only a one-car spin, and with single-file restarts here, I believe, we should be okay for just about the same amount of time. But with the points of this race where you are going to see a lot more action is at stage ends, and then, of course, within the final 10 to 12 laps is when the action is really going to start picking up. So for right now, things should be all fine and dandy.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out here for the rest of this event. I believe, imagine next time we will get the green flag here at Talladega. Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito going to be the front row. And how about Tyler Mallon, defending winner of this event, there in the 3rd position. He's coming his way through the field very well so far in this one. Andrew Lemke alongside him there. And then you got Cody Lamas and Travis Crampton in row number 3 for this restart. Dylan Poche will be alongside Anthony McCurry. Bernie Mobbs, he fell back there at the initial start of the race, but he'll be back on the inside lane for this restart alongside Roger Ray. And Felipe Teixeira in the number 10 alongside Blake Warren to make up row number 6. Austin Ogo to the inside of Donnie Garrett. Trey Fisher and Dylan Young back in there in row number 8. Cole Deaver, Matt Watkins, Levi McIntyre, Rob Evans, Seth Cole, Carson Gum, Jessica Shelton, and then Garrett Sonor coming back through the field. I believe he topped off on fuel, so did RJ Bishop and Nick Gunther in the 55. Well, this will be interesting to see how it plays out for the rest of this event.
Well, Alex, I made a pick at the beginning. While we have the chance here, who do you have your eyes on here? I had Levi, but pretty sure you may have a different idea here.
You know, and after watching last year's event, and seeing what Tyler Mallon did, it's hard to pick against Tyler Mallon in these types of events. And I think, barring any issue, I think Tyler Mallon's the guy to be. However, with these RTG guys coming in the play this year, Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito, they are really good. If I'm not mistaken, Joe DeSpirito won the last Talladega Challenge Championship, so those guys are going to be hard to beat as well. And they're 1, 2, 3 right now. So if I had to put my money on one guy, I would pick Tyler Mallon, no doubt about it. But those RTG guys especially are ones I'm watching out for in this event.
These guys are going to roll here through the front straightaway into the Hallowdega restart zone. Bob Seminara still in control of this thing with Joe DeSpirito, his buddy, to the outside. We're going to go back green on lap 8 of 94, giving us 86 laps to go here today. And here we go. Green flag in the air in the 712 and the 24. Dead even as they head to 1.
We're going to have to see if the outside lane gets an advantage this time around. Joe DeSpirito, and already that's Travis Crampton on the inside. And that inside lane is forming up quickly. They do not want to be on that outside lane, and it does appear there Andrew Lemke going to get shuffled out of line in the 70 machine. He's going to fall back. Roger Ray there as well on the outside, but everybody else on the inside lane here. And I think, too, they may just be looking to get to the end of the stage. There really is no need to race too heavily right now. It's a long race, 94 laps. No need to wreck your race car, especially considering got realistic damage. If you wreck, you're out of the race, and I don't think any of these guys will get out of the race this early on here at Talladega.
They come on the exit at turn number 4. Everyone else spreading out towards the back, trying to get free of all the trouble. About the top 7 run single file. The 712 in the lead. Joe DeSpirito right there in second. Behind him, Tyler Mallon, the defending winner of the race. TJ Crampton running well early on. And then Cody Lamas rounding out the top 5 as they blaze through 1 and 2. And the single file train now heads through the top 10. The only one sitting on the outside, Andrew Lemke, and then has no help outside of the 43 of Blake Warren.
And Mallon down the backstretch was looking there, but was looking to see if there was a way you can get a run on Despirito and Seminara ahead of them, but no help there from Crampton behind him. But a great run for the number 74 there, Travis Crampton, running in the 4th position right now. Great run for Cody Lamas. How about Anthony McCurry? A couple guys who started in the back of this field already moving themselves inside the top 10. Dylan Pote, Bernie Mobbs, Felipe Tesadra, and Austin Ogo, the top 10. And got some shuffling back in here. Blake Warren, and that's Seth Cole behind Warren on that outside lane. Nick Gunther back in here as well, and Cole Deaver. Those guys trying to get some of the work on an outside lane in the back of the field, but right now nothing going for him here at Talladega.
Like I said earlier on, the inside line is going to be your friend tonight as Felipe Teixeira gets shuffled out of line there, and he'll move to that little quasi-outside line trying to be formed and now be the leader of that pack, as that also now forms a break on that inside line. Maybe that can give this outside line an opportunity as Seth Cole got moved into the middle and now is 3 wide towards the back.
Yeah, and these guys were talking like they wanted to stay in the back of the field to avoid trouble, but right now it seems like that's the place you don't want to be, as there's a lot of shuffling going on in the back of the field right now, and no one seems to know which line they want to be in, and a close move right there with Seth Cole right in front of Cole Deaver, but thankfully no incident, and they keep on rolling in the back of the field. Some guys back in here like Dylan Young. I think Garrett Sonor's also back here as well there in the number 16 machine. Carson Gum and Matt Watkins hanging in the back right now. RJ Bishop's lost the draft in the number 77. However, I don't think he's going to get lapped before the stage end at lap number 20. We got 10 laps to go until stage 1 completes here at Talladega.
We roll here towards turn number 3. The action starting to heat up, but everyone has settled it out. Single file, Tyler Mallon and company running a little bit of a half line higher there than the 24 and those 712. Mallon's going to move it to the outside here. He's got to be careful not to get shuffled out, but he slides back in line behind the 24, and that keeps things single file.
Very close racing between Mallon and Despirito there, and Mallon's seeing what he can do early on in this race on these guys ahead of him, but it could be one of those events, especially considering, like you said, Seminara, Despirito, they're good friends. There's no need for Despirito to race with Seminara this early on in the race, especially if they're going to be helping each other out here, and we all know how well Tyler Mallon can race on these restrictor plates, and those guys want to keep him behind them, and I think that's what they're going to try to do early on in this event, but not much to talk about in that top 10. They've all been keeping it calm, but back in here, they are racing like it's for the lead on the last lap. Dylan Young getting shuffled out of line back in there in the number 2 machine. Garrett Sonor, Nick Gunther, Seth Cole trying to work their way through the field. They seem to be the only drivers who are actually trying to move their way through the field. Jessica Shelton got to peek out of line as well, and she's going to help with Seth Cole. And here comes Lemke as well as Shelton moves down to the inside and up front. Outside lane, Tyler Mallon's got to run with Crampton and the 48 of Cody Lamas, and now they're racing for the lead here at Talladega.
Tyler Mallon makes a bold move on the front stretch to step out of line, and then paid off. Crampton, Lamas, and Poteet all knew what they had to do, and now, Alexander, we got 2 lines formed here. McCurry steps out of the inside line. Looks like that outside line finally has some momentum, as Mallon is still trying to clear the 712 of Bob Seminara.
Yeah, looks like the RTG guys going to be on that inside lane helping each other out as Bernie Mobbs closing in now on Despirito and Seminara. But a lot of these guys who've been in this race before, like Mallon, Crampton, Lamas, they're on that outside lane working to move their way to the front. And Tyler Mallon going to become only the 2nd different leader here tonight. He's going to lead lap number 13 here at Talladega. A familiar place for Mallon in this event. But Crampton, great run for TJ Crampton there in the 74. He's trying to help that 18 get past the 712, but Seminara and inside lane has formed back up, and those guys are going to have an advantage down the backstretch.
2 by 2, 8 rows deep. Tyler Mallon still has trying to maintain himself on the outside. Hasn't decided to go down in front of the 712. 74 trying to pinch the 712 as they head through 3. They keep it going, though, as the battling continues, and a 3rd line trying to be formed on the extreme high side. Seth Cole is the one leading that group.
And those guys have been trying to get some of the work on the outside lane since the drop of the green flag, but now everybody's on the outside lane, and we got 2 equal lines here. Didn't quite expect this early on in the event, especially considering how formed up they were earlier on, but Tyler Mallon, Travis Crampton, they saw the opportunity and they took it. However, Seminara and Despirito are not going to let them have it easy as they're working very strong on this inside lane, and Seminara going to clear back to the inside. imagine that they're going to be side by side until the end of this stage, because I don't think Crampton and Mallon are going to split off from each other, and definitely Seminary and the Spirit are going to stick with each other to the end of this stage, no doubt. But those guys side by side, they got to be careful. If one of these guys makes a mistake, they could wipe out half the field.
There's a third RTG driver in the picture, is Roger Ray. He has been caught, or RJ Bishop, excuse me. He's been caught up to here. He's going to go a lap down to these guys as they go around. He's got to be careful as a couple cars stepping out of line. But as I was saying, 3 RTG guys on that inside line. And then Austin Ogo, I know he's not an RTG guy, but he was running with them in practice. So really 4 guys that know each other somewhat on that inside line right now. Is it is drag race after drag race, as the third one, and again by Seth, led by Seth Cole, is trying to be formed on the top side. These guys have got to be careful as they head down the back.
They definitely do, especially considering we have realistic damage on the night. I believe it's the first time we've ever done that in Hallowdega, which means you got to be careful, extra careful to make sure you do not wreck. Anthony McCurry's got to run there with Seth Cole and Garrett Tenor in that outside lane. 3 lanes up. We'll have to see if they can find a way to Mallon and Seminara. But right now, they're not quite there, but they are gaining a little bit of ground. That's going to slow down the outside lane a little bit. McCurry getting a bit of a run on the outside of Cody Lamas and Austin Ogo. And they may eventually get a run here on Crampton and Mountain. They've got a really strong line going to that third line. And you know, in my opinion, it's a little too early to be going 3 wide up front here in this event, especially considering if you wreck, you're going to be done for the night. Now, Bob Seminara's doing nothing wrong. He's been leading this race this entire time. He's just holding that inside lane. Has been doing so the entire night. But all these other guys, they want to get to the lead, and they want it very early on here in this one. As Mallon and Crampton, they got no help now. They're going to fall into the sucker hole and fall back here at Hallowdega.
Anthony McCurry did not allow that 18 to try and slide up in front of him in a very smart move. And Seth Cole got the wall off the corner, and it's checking up a lot of drivers, and that's going to kill all the momentum for everybody that was on the outside lanes. And now the inside line will start happening again, and I think that has sent a message to everybody. Let's calm down. This is only lap 18 now, as Seth Cole drops further to the back, and Bob Seminara regains the lead.
And a lot of damage on Seth Cole after he tapped the wall right there. That is going to definitely send a message to the rest of this field. You said it perfectly. A wake-up call for everybody else, as they are generally back down the single file. And Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito, patience played into their hands right there. And they may award them the stage victory. And I think all these guys are going to stick right with each other and make sure that does not happen again this early on in the race. Going to be 2 laps to go in stage 1 here at Hallowdega. Next time by, Bob Seminara has led all but around 3 laps in this one, and he's going to lead at lap number 18.
So they hit the line. Like you said, 2 laps to go. The RTG clan, 1, 2, 3 right now. Austin Ogo up there in 4th in a RTG machine, filling in for Dante Ricci today. So technically, if you think about it, it is 4 RTG guys up there at the front with those machines. And then Jessica Shelton, who also runs an RTG, up there in the 5th spot. And it's a battle on for 6 between Tyler Mallon and the 76 of Donnie Garrett with Rob. Look at Rob Evans out of nowhere, our only caution of the race. And he's sitting out here just on the inside of the top 10.
Yeah, the good thing for Rob Evans, he didn't hit anything, so his car's just as good as new. And with the great equalizer that Hallowdega is, that draft will pull you right up to the front. And it looks like he may get a top 10 run here in stage number 1. Bob Seminara going to lead at the line for lap number 19, and it's 1 lap to go in stage 1 here at Hallowdega.
Stage caution coming here on the back straightaway. Bob Seminara is gonna get this done here in this stage as long as nobody else steps out. But he's got everyone and his buddies helping behind him. That outside line trying to form as they head down the back. But it's definitely not going to work. It may be too little too late, as when they come through 3 and 4 and head down the long front straightaway that is Hallowdega until you get to the line. It's not like Daytona, folks. Bob Seminara is going to come out as your stage 1 winner.
And of course, for Tyler Mallon, I can understand why he's trying to do something, see what he can do for the finish of this race. But it will be Bob Seminara who leads a majority of stage 1, getting the stage victory here for the first stage in NNSCRA Hallowdega. We'll back it down, and it'll be a perfect opportunity for the field to come down the pit lane. Majority of these guys have not come down the pit for fuel yet, and like I mentioned at the top of the show, fuel run 19 to 21 laps. So these guys probably near empty tanks right now, and a pit stop will be much welcome to these drivers here on the lap number 21. But they can race. It's no question that these cars and these drivers can race well. The big question is, do you want to do it that early? As we saw, almost had a disaster there as Seth Cole smacked the outside wall, and he's actually got significant damage to his car. That's going to affect him in the rest of this event. But still, a great race so far. Very clean up to this point. Give a lot of props to these guys in the field. And what are your thoughts so far on this one here from Talladega on lap 21?
Well, they were getting a little chippy there towards the end of this stage around lap 14, 15. I was thinking, oh, this is brewings for a wreck, and you don't want that in the first half of this race because we're nowhere close to the halfway point yet. But these guys, I underestimated them. They kept it clean for the most part, aside from Seth Cole having his issues. And I'm very thrilled with the product of racing so far. Because here they all come into the pit lane.
And there's no doubt, once we get to the finish of this race, they're going to be doing that side by side. And odds are they're going to be doing it with a little less giveaway. We'll probably see a wreck at some point throughout this event. But right now, only one spin and one caution for incident here at Talladega. We're under the stage caution right now as we follow with Bob Simonera, our pole sitter, who won stage one. And tires should not be too much of an issue here. Looks like Bernie Mobbs may have missed his pit stall.
Another car that missed the stall as well. Jessica Shelton had to back up about 3-4 times till she could finally get herself into the pit box. So driver that was in the top 10 at the end of the stage might be at the way end of the field when we get ready for the restart.
And I think Bernie Mobbs did miss his pit stall. He's gonna have to come back around again, I do believe, in that number 90 machine. It's a tough break for him because he was running right there with Seminara, Austin Ogo, and Joe DeSpirito. How about Felipe Tesager there in the number 10? Haven't talked too much about him in this race, but he's been quietly moving his way through the field in that very nice number 10 scheme. I know it's not Halloween-based, but I like that scheme a lot. Nice silver base to that number 10 machine. Obviously, Tyler Mallon with a great scheme. Throwing back to Bobby Labonte in number 18. Love seeing that scheme on the racetrack, and we always see him up front as well, as he is currently top 5, and Donnie Garrett rounds out the top 5 off the pit lane here from Talladega.
You want to talk about schemes I enjoy? I really enjoy Crampton's scheme. You know, a throwback to Robbie Gordon's days in the late 2000s, early 2010s there in that speed energy machine. So cool to see that. But yeah, everyone else really in Halloween-themed schemes as it is Halloween today. The final day of October. Can you believe it? We are already 10 months of the way through this whirlwind of a year.
Yeah, well, hey, maybe the faster the better for 2020. It's been a crazy year, but it's been a good year in the NR world, and had a lot of fun calling these races for Flatout Racing. And we're sure you've caught a lot more than I have. We've definitely enjoyed it, and we're storing another good one here today, technically, for the 6th annual NNSCRA Hallowdega special event. They are lining up here, which would lead me to believe we're going to be going back to racing right here at the line. So it's Bob Seminara, Austin Ogo, the top 2 drivers in the field. Felipe Tesager in the number 10, and Tyler Mallon going to restart in 4th. Donnie Garrett, TJ Crampton, Garrett Senor, Roger Ray, Andrew Lemke, Joe DeSpirito. That's the top 10.
Restart has been waived.
And I would imagine, because we did have Bernie Mobbs there in the number 90 have to come down the pit lane, they're going to have to wait for him to come back around. So next time by, we'll take the green flag to begin stage number 2.
And now you look up here at the front, a little bit of a different looking top group here. Joe DeSpirito is going to restart in 10th, so Bob Seminara is not going to have his buddy, but now he's got a couple different casts now. He's got Austin Ogo to the outside, and then he's got Felipe Teixeira behind him, then Tyler Mallon, and then Donnie Garrett there in the top 5. So it's going to be interesting to see how Bob manages with a different cast and crew surrounding him here as they head to the back straightaway.
It'll definitely be interesting. I think, like you said, that's an RTG car right there with Austin Ogo, number 82. I'd imagine Ogo's going to try to help Seminara as much as he can. Don't know much about Tesager, who he's going to help out in this race. Haven't really seen him too much up front, so we do know that Mallon and Crampton have been helping each other out there in that outside lane. And obviously Donnie Garrett, another RTG guy right there in the 76, I think he's going to have a good shot at possibly helping Seminara in this one as well. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out here, as I believe we're coming around to get to the restart. We're getting a bit of a fast-paced lap right here, so we can get to it quicker for you guys. Of course, manual cautions are on, and as a matter of fact, Actually looking to lap the 90 of Bernie Mobs here, who I think was still out in front.
Yeah, I got word from race control that they had to get around him. The 90 had an end of line penalty, so I don't know. We should go green right here, but let's see how this pans out. Bob Seminara, Austin Ogo, the front row for the restart here. Here we go. Green flag in the air. Seminara, another good jump. What does the 82 decide to do in a really bad restart? For the 76 of Donnie Garrett, he did not going. Looks like a tire spin on the restart, Alex.
Yeah, and Mallon's going to take advantage of that and file right in. That's the exact position he was in when he made the move earlier on in stage one to get side by side with Seminara. Now Tesadra's going to go to the outside. Number 10 machine, and he's going to have help from Mallon, and that's going to leave a big gap on the inside lane. So Tesadra and Mallon could be able to clear Seminara here for the race lead.
Look at the credit one, number 10, go, and now Mallon leaves the 10 out to dry, as here comes Mallon. What a bold move. They're out of the caution, and Mallon spins in front of the field. Big wreck on the front stretch.
And not a good one at all, as a lot of guys caught up in this one. Anthony McCurry with heavy damage. That is Andrew Lemke. He's going to be done for the day. And I'm not entirely sure how that all happened, but it was the car behind Seminara who moved up, and I'm trying to locate it. Forget exactly who it was. It might have been Donnie Garrett, who actually got a little tight off the corner and slid up in the Mallon and caused this one. I do believe Mallon avoided any contact with the wall. Don't see any significant damage on that car, so a huge break for Tyler Mallon. But other guys were unfortunately not as lucky in that incident. Anthony McCurry with the most damage, I do believe, in the 61 machine. And we see Lemke there with damage as well. But that looked like a big wreck, but I think a lot of these guys simply spun around and avoided hitting the wall, thankfully. So it looked a lot bigger than what it actually was. But I can imagine we're going to have a few drivers who are not going to be happy after the end of that one.
Specifically Tyler Mallon, because the 76, I mean, you can't really put a whole lot of blame on him. The car just got tight, and the 18 was there. Right after the 18 made a big move, but as for cars that are just crunched, Anthony McCurry and Andrew Lemke, as you mentioned, McCurry with a lot of hood damage on that machine, so it's hard to believe that there is no engine damage on the 61. The 70 is all junked up, left side, right side, rear end, all crunched. So his
and there's
not
someone
going to be
else, Austin Ogo as well.
Yeah, Austin Ogo as well. He was second on the restart. He's going to head to the pits here, hoping to try and get all the damage he can repaired. But everyone else that I saw spinning pretty much just spun and didn't really hit anything else. And specifically that mentions Tyler Mallon, who just he was the original spinner, but looks like he's okay as we'll take a look at a replay.
Yeah, we'll see what happened to bring this caution out, and definitely the biggest wreck that we have had all day in this one from Talladega. And this is definitely a tough track. You have all those cars right on each other, and like I mentioned earlier on, if one driver makes a mistake, the other guys are going to pay the price as well. And we'll take a look and see what happened right here with this one. Number 76 there of Donnie Garrett. And he's right behind Seminara this whole time. He may have clipped the apron and slid up into Tyler Mallon. And, of course, Mallon had nowhere to go. Garrett Senor right behind Mallon right there. And Senor's going to get some damage from this one, but it doesn't appear that he accumulated too much. And then you see the 84. Roger Ray took a hard hit. Lemke into the inside wall hard. Austin Ogo caught up as well. TJ Crampton got spun around too. For Ray and Crampton, I think they both avoided hitting the wall. And the three guys with the most damage are Lemke, McCurry, and Austin Ogo in the 82. But as for everyone else, they should be able to continue. I am a little concerned with Senor in the 16, because Senor did hit that outside wall. I don't see significant damage on his machine, but it does appear that he may have a bit of an issue later on in this race because of that.
If you want to see a great onboard of this, you got to look at the 21 of Rob Evans. He did spin in the pits trying to avoid the wreck, and I don't think he got a whole lot of damage in that Hot Wheels Ford. But watch him navigate this wreck. Everything happening in front of him, cars spinning to his outside, inside, in front of him, cars almost flipping. And aside from spinning and hitting the pit wall, he did an incredible job. I'm probably going to give him the good hands move of the race there, that number 21 of Rob Evans.
And we'll get an onboard with him in a moment. There's the real time there, and we saw what happened with Tesaja, and it looks like Tesaja just moved out of line. And you see what happened to everybody else right there. Thankfully, it wasn't as big as it looked, and I think we'll only end up with a couple guys who get knocked out from the race because of that incident. But we're going to go on board with the number 21 of Rob Evans and see what this one felt like for him. He's already had a wild enough of a race, I should say, in this one. And it looks like he ended up spinning around in the same exact place that he spun around to bring out the first caution of the race. But we're on board here with Rob Evans in the number 21 machine. You see the chaos ensue right in front of him.
I do want to remind you folks, we are back to green flag racing. These guys really got back to green really quick, so after the replay, we'll get you to the green flag. Bob Seminara is your leader at the moment. Joe DeSpirito is back up there with him, as well as is Bernie Mobbs. Rob Evans, who you're just riding with on board, he is was out in fourth and is now starting to slide backwards as he got pushed out of line.
And we're right back to single file racing here with Bob Seminara. Joe DeSpirito right back there with the 712 machine. Of course, a few of these guys stayed out. And those RTG guys in particular stayed out. Those top four all run in the Talladega Challenge and multiple RTG races. And they are right there, I should say. 1, 2, 3, 4 here at Talladega. So good, clean restart. Obviously, that first restart did not go over too well for some guys. But for the most part, it's looking pretty good for these guys who are still up front here at Talladega.
Seminara still doing a great job keeping himself up front and out of trouble. A couple new players up here in the top 5 and top 10. Blake Warren, he has worked his way up to 5th, filling in for Robbie Gilvin today. One of 3 drivers filling in for those who could not make it. He's the one we haven't mentioned yet. Trey Fisher running up in 6th here. Nick Gunther in the Leaf Filter 55. He is running 7th. Roger Ray got involved in that wreck, but he is up to 8th. And then Cody Lamas and Garrett Sidnor down there in 10th. As you see the 10 of Felipe Teixeira return to the racetrack with multiple laps down.
Yeah, it's a tough break there for Tesaja. He may have had an issue prior to that incident, which is why he peaked out of line, and he is multiple laps down in the 26th position. There you see Andrew Lemke, RJ Bishop's been off the pace all day, and Mallon has lost the draft as well in the 18. Of course, obviously Anthony McCurry in the 61 as well. I don't think anyone actually is out of the race officially, but those guys and even Mallon may have enough damage to the point where he may not be able to run with this draft. But now they're single file up front. Nice and clean up front right now. And of course, you had that one incident, but that's pretty much been it so far here today at Talladega. Bob Seminara holding on to this race lead with Joe DeSpirito right behind him, and Bernie Mobbs, who, Bernie Mobbs under that caution had an EOL, and now all of a sudden here he is in 3rd. Didn't take too long for him to get back up to the front in that number 90 machine. Of course, that wreck helped him a lot, but hey, we thought he was going to have some trouble there moving his way through the field, but he got right back up there in that number 90 machine.
As we look at Bob Seminara continuing to lead here, single file throughout. Just got word from race control. Caution will fly for the next stage at lap 42, as they went back green, I believe, at lap 22. So we'll have that full 20-stage green flag here. So hopefully they can keep it green here, and it looks like they will because everybody is single file through the entire top 15, top 20.
Not only that, Seth Cole, who we saw before the end of the first stage, had that right side damage to his race car. And all nice and clean right now in the 70 machine, right back in the draft. So he's right back in the mix of this one. And realistically, obviously Seminara, DeSpirito, Bernie Mobbs, and if it weren't for the fact that Mallon got spun around there, he would definitely be up front as well. Those guys, they definitely have a bit of an advantage. I think there's some of the better drivers in this field in terms of winning this race, but it's still Talladega. There's still a very big equalizer, and who knows? You got Trey Fisher up here. I don't think I've ever called a race with Trey Fisher before, but here he is in the 09 machine running in 6th. And then you got Nick Gunther up here. He's a good super speedway racer. Roger Ray, Cole Deaver, a lot of these guys all have an opportunity, a great opportunity at that, at winning this race. But can they beat the RTG train up front of Seminara, DeSpirito, and Bernie Mobbs? We'll just have to see as this race goes along. Got ourselves 9 laps to go, including this one. And I should say 11 laps to go, including this one here in stage number 2.
Towards the back, guys playing it safe. Carson Gum, Levi McIntyre, Donnie Garrett, who caused the last caution, Rob Evans, and Austin Ogo, despite the rear end damage, he's still holding speed here, trying not to lose the draft of Rob Evans. That might start to be happening here, but we'll have to document that as that goes on. But these guys, like I talked to both Carson and Levi pre-race, they said they wanted to hang out back and wait till later on to try and start making charges at the front. Speaking of the front, second line might be trying to be formed here as Nick Gunther and company are starting to swing to the outside.
Yeah, Nick Gunther, Roger Reyes are coming up on Anthony McCurry, who was involved in an accident, and obviously you see the hood. Well, you can't really see the hood because it's not there. Definitely not going to be keeping up with the rest of the field here in this one. Tough right there for Anthony McCurry here in this one. Was riding in the back a lot of this race, but got caught up in that accident there earlier in this stage. Blake Warren, and now we got a bit of a gap there in an inside lane. This outside lane is formed up fairly well, and Blake Warren may be the driver who gets the advantage on the outside. Nick Gunther, Roger Ray behind him. You got those top four right there: Shelton, Bernie Mobbs, Despirito, and Seminara, who are essentially all by themselves at this point. We're going to have to see if Blake Warren and these guys can find a way to the outside of Seminara for this race lead. They are coming there. Blake Warren trying to get alongside Jessica Shelton. Those top four, even though it's only four drivers, they are running very strong in that inside. And they are some of the best drivers out here, no doubt about it. And that gap is still there on that inside lane. Trey Fisher kind of holding back a little bit. It's been like that for about a lap. He's got Cole Deaver right behind him in the number 3 machine. Let's see if those guys can rejoin those top four. But those top four might just be that fast. And they are definitely holding a good line on the inside, keeping these guys on the outside behind them and not letting them get to the front here at Hallowdega.
Sorry, I forgot I was on Push to Talk. I was commentating during that little pause, but it didn't come through. Either way, the 43 STP Toyota doing really good right now, keeping it up front. I was saying what actually wasn't saying, because the inside line was a little bit more organized, that top four, and I think that's why the 43 and 55 couldn't make inroads to try and gain up on them. But now it's starting to look like that outside line's forming, because Jessica Shelton was getting a little squirrely there through 1 and 2, but now they got some help on the inside of Trey Fisher and Cole Deaver. Let's see if they're able to catch up. It could also be that the 43 just may not have enough speed right now, even though he is leading this outside line as they head through 3 and 4.
Yeah, it is a fixed setup race for these guys, so realistically all these cars should have around the same speed. But then again, too, with all that we've had go on today, it might be just a slight little bit of damage on that 43 machine from a prior incident, I should say. And that could be holding him up just a little bit. Either that or those guys in the inside lane just have it formed up a lot better, like Carlos said. And that could be the case here for these guys so far here at Hallowdega. Trey Fisher was able to get right to the back bumper for Jessica Shelton, and Blake Warren way out of line right there. That's going to very much so hold up that outside lane from the inside lane, and it looks like those top four are going to continue to have the advantage here. They're actually starting to put a bit of a gap on the whole pack right there. Even though that outside lane has around 8 drivers, those 4 guys up front have it figured out better than anybody else, and Nick Gunther going to abort that outside lane, and Blake Warren going to be left out to dry in that 43 machine for the time being.
I figured that was going to happen. I think Gunther tried to do it on the through 1 and 2 last time and couldn't do it. Now they're going to try and reform it again as Trey Fisher throws a massive block on the 55 of Nick Gunther. That's going to move Roger Ray to the inside line, and now Nick Gunther is going to get left out to dry there on the outside as they lap now the 18 of Tyler Mallon, the defending winner.
Yeah, and didn't think we'd be saying that this early on, but Tyler Mallon, who was my pick to win this race, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Commentator's curse right there. He is going to fall a lap down here on lap 37 of 94. The finish of stage 2, lap 42 of the event. And then from there, no more stage breaks until the end of the race at lap number 94. Of course, point of no return, lap number 90 in this event here today. Trey Fisher's trying there. He's trying to get some guys behind him to help him. Roger Ray's going to help him there in the 84 machine. Definitely very interesting race going on up front here. And Garrett Sonora's found his way back to the inside lane. As a matter of fact, Garrett Sonora just ran his fastest lap. So that probably explains how he got up to the front right there with Jessica Shelton, those guys. We'll have to see what Sonora Gunther do here on these 4 guys who have been dominating this race during this stage. And a close up on McCurry and RJ Bishop at the same time. So this is going to be very interesting here in terms of lap traffic. Bishop's going to pass McCurry ahead of those guys. And we'll have to see if McCurry gets in the way, but it looks like RJ Bishop might finally go a lap down here in the number 77 machine. Been a tough race for him. He's been off the pace pretty much the entire day. And right there, he's going to become the first ever one lap down. And if I'm not mistaken, we do have a free pass, I would imagine. And right now, that would go to RJ Bishop. However, Tyler Mellon did get back in this draft, and probably for a very good reason, because if he does stay in this draft, he's going to pass RJ Bishop right there. He should be the first guy one lap down and get his lap back once we get to the stage caution.
These guys were trying to form an outside line. The 16 and the 55 just bailed out on them. This is going to be a thing that these drivers have got to learn tonight. You got to work together and then be patient. Patience is key at a track like Talladega. You got to and try and hope that the speed will come there on the outside, because they were getting something going. Trey Fisher's the new leader of this group, and he's got a lot of speed. But for that outside line to work, teamwork has got to work throughout this entire race. If not, you're never going to get a second line to work at this track.
And I think that may be the big advantage for those four guys on the inside lane. They have been patient. Despirito has been right behind that 712 all night long. And this is exactly what happened last year when Tyler Mellon dominated this race. Andrew Miller was behind him the entire time. So that patience definitely plays off. Now, it may not pay off for Despirito at the end of this race. The win could easily just go right to Seminara like it did last year with Mellon, because Miller had no shot at getting to him. But if you're up there and have a shot at the front of this race, at the end of this race, I should say, you're going to have a good shot at winning. And these guys, if you're patient, you're going to be up there in the front at the end of this event. And that might be the best strategy here, because all these guys shuffling all over the place, but the top four has stayed the same pretty much this entire stage. As Gunther cut back down and went below the double yellow line there. Didn't advance his position. I don't know if we have a rule on that or not, but regardless, that was a little etchy right there on that 55 machine.
It was an interesting move, because this apron will eat you alive. Donnie Garrett can be a testament to that, as when the last caution came out, because of him hitting the apron. So these guys have got to be careful through the corners, and then on that front straightaway where the apron kind of breaks off from the racetrack. So it was a little dicey there, but it looks like he's got it going as these guys pass some more lap traffic. When they come to the line, it'll be the white flag in the stage, 1 lap to go at lap 42.
And they are going to lap to Shadra and Lemke again. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think Malin got by them as well, and Malin should be in the position to get the free pass. Bob Seminara, Joe Despirito, Bernie Mobbs, Jessica Shelton, and Nick Gunther, the top five. They're single file. I have to see if anyone tries to make a move here. They're closing in on another lap car. That's Austin Oko, who had his damage from that accident, and he was part of that second pack, but it looks like he has lost the draft from that one, and now he is a lap down, but Malin will also get around him as well. And the number 24, looks like he's going to let Seminara pull out of this one, and Bob Seminara looking to sweep the two stages here in Hallowdega.
They come out of turn number 4. Caution will fly at the line. As here comes the 712 of Joe Despirito pushing the 712 of Bob Seminara, and he will officially sweep both stages here tonight. The 6th annual Hallowdega special event here in the NNSCRA on the Flatout Racing Network. What a drive so far from the driver of the number 712 machine. Joe Despirito rolls out in second. Bernie Mobbs got third. Nick Gunther slid into fourth, just beating Jessica Shelton at the line. She gets fifth. Top 10 is Roger Ray, TJ Crampton, Trey Fisher. The 8, in ninth of Dylan Poteet. And then you got to go a little further back here to Cole Deaver, who ended up in the 10th position to round out the top 10 to close stage 2, as we are now under our caution for the stage break.
And lap 43 of 94 right now. When we restart, it'll be past halfway here in NNSCRA Hallowdega 2020. So definitely an interesting start to this race. A very clean race so far, especially compared to past Hallowdega events. Obviously 2 years ago was my first one I called. Oh boy, that was too much, but a huge hats off to these drivers. Very, very solid field this year. And, if I'm speaking for myself, this is the best field this event has seen for NNSCRA Hallowdega. A lot of very talented drivers, and we're definitely seeing that here tonight so far. I'd say the one mistake there with Donnie Garrett, hit the apron, moved up, just a racing incident, but for that to be the only major incident in this race here halfway through the event, definitely a huge plus on these guys, and a huge congratulations to them for running a clean race. We definitely like to see that as commentators, and hopefully you guys at home like seeing that as race fans. Bob Simmons are going to lead us down the pit lane. Top off on fuel. Now remember, the fuel window is 19 to 21 laps, and the way I have it figured out is they should be able to make it on one more stop after this once we restart. But it could be close for a couple of guys if they do not save properly. So this could get a little interesting here. Seminara will easily win the race off the pit. Well, actually, it wasn't as much of a dominating performance off the pit lane as I thought it was. The Spirito, Shelton, Roger Ray, they're all right there, and TJ Crampton going to run out the top 5 of the pit lane. And this time, Bernie Mobbs was able to get his pit stop underway, as he is going to restart in the 6th position with Nick Gunther, Dylan Poteet. DeSaja in the number 10 is multiple laps down, so Rob Evans in 9th, and Trey Fisher rounds out the top 10.
Woo! 44 laps into this thing. It feels like a lot longer, but these guys, like you mentioned, they've been doing really good, keeping the race clean aside from the big wreck, and that was our third caution of the night. But let's see what they do here, because now it's a race all the way to the finish. 50 laps from now, we will crown a winner of the 6th annual Hallowdega special event. And like they were saying in our chat on YouTube, Tyler Mallon, he is your lucky dog in this one. And, you know, if he's able to keep up with the draft, he might be able to make something happen.
We're just going to have to see. Not entirely sure how he lost the draft. We apologize for missing the restart. So we were reviewing that big accident. They got back to green pretty fast that last time around. And if I'm not mistaken, they're probably going to get back to green right here. We do not have any EOLs as far as I know. Rob Evans is there on the apron. Actually, a couple of guys on the apron right there. So if those guys are on the apron, if they're going to come down this time around, lead me to believe that next time by would be the green flag. Not entirely sure what race control is saying about that. But Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito, 1-2 right now. Jessica Sheldon, Roger Ray, TJ Crampton, Bernie Mobbs, Nick Gunther, Dylan Poteet, Trey Fisher, and Seth Cole, the top 10 at the moment. Rob Evans coming back down the pit lane. Wondering if that was a penalty on his part. We'll have to see if it was, because they're restarting. And this time around, Jessica Shelton did not get going on the restart, and Roger Ray going to peek right down to the inside and take second, and that right there is the Spirito's slot. Let's see what Seminara does with Roger Ray behind him here, but now we've got a new second-place runner here in this race, and this could really get interesting here during this run.
Could that have been a strategy move out of the 84 and the 9 to break up the RTG train at the front? Because now there's a new contender up there. Roger Ray in the number 84. What a run for him. Up into the 2nd spot now, the outside line, trying to form with Dylan Poteet and Seth Cole. But everyone else just going to try and roll to the inside here. But that outside line has had its success tonight. Tyler Mallon, he is 5th on that outside line as they head to the start-finish line. Bob Seminara still in control.
And Seminara has definitely been the Pied Piper of this race, but Roger Ray looked to the inside. And I don't know if Seminara is trying to get DeSpirito back behind him or what, but he did leave that hole open for Ray to go to the inside. But Seminara holds on to the race lead right now, and still, it's early on in this race now. I would like to apologize, too. I think it's going to be a 2-stop race to the end. I said it may be just 1 stop, as in the wall goes Austin Ogo in the back, but he's just going to lose the draft right there, and we remain green. I did my math incorrectly. I thought we had 40 laps to go. We had 50 laps to go at the restart, or should I say 51 to be exact. And they will definitely have to do at least 2 stops before the end of this race, so that could really get interesting, especially late in the going, if fuel mileage comes into play, if we don't have the cautions fall in the right way. But either way, back to single file right there, as they're still led by Bob Seminara here in this one. And the guy leading the outside lane is multiple laps down. Felipe DeShager there in the number 10. And Mallon's trying to get somewhere, but he is stuck in the middle of this pack in 14th.
Roger Ray there on the front stretch was thinking about going to the inside of the 712. And now Roger Ray gets punted out of line. That is going to cost him. And that is going to allow the 24 of Joe DeSpirito to slide back into the 2nd position as the 84 is going to cascade. What a move by Tyler Mallon to try and get through there. And Ray got the apron, so everyone's going to scramble to try and avoid the 84, who's way out of shape right now. But they keep it green as they're 2 by 2, a couple rows deep, down onto the front straightaway.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what was going on there with Roger Ray. Like you said, he may have actually gotten punted there by Despirito, and that could have been the issue, but it's the same top four as it was before the stage. Seminaire, Despirito, Bernie Mobs, and Jessica Shelton, and all those guys race alongside each other very frequently, and they are right now the top four. TJ Crampton behind those guys. We'll have to see how patient Crampton is here, because what we saw there in that second stage, which is saying, is that all those guys behind the top four were so antsy. They try to get into one lane and they get into another lane. None of them were patient enough to actually beat those top four guys. We'll have to see if the patience is a little bit better for these guys behind the top four in this run. Dylan Poteet pushing Nick Gunther on the outside lane. They got a bit of momentum there on the outside lane, but will they stick with it here during this run?
It's a battle now between the RTG guys and the Racing Core guys. Gunther leading the group on the outside. Seminara leading the inside. He's been dominant all night long. The person that kind of bounces between both Jessica Shelton, both the Racing Core and RTG drivers, sitting there in fourth. She's been there all night long. She might be a dark horse here when it comes down to the end of this thing. She has been patient and running well with the guys that are in the top three right now. The outside line just has a little fewer cars than that inside line does.
Yeah, and then got all these guys who were falling behind during that second stage who have kind of rejoined this pack. You got Carson Gum in the back of the pack, Cody Lamas, Matt Watkins as well. I haven't seen much of Watkins in this race, but he's still up there. Much bigger pack, 20 cars in the main pack right now here at Talladega. RJ Bishop off the pace again with Lemke Rob Evans as well. And obviously we saw what happened with Rob Evans. He came down the pit lane right when the restart happened, and he may have had a penalty because of that, possibly sped down the pit lane. But 20 guys still in contention for this race victory, including Tyler Mallon, who was at one point a lap down. Well, now he is running 10th on that inside line, trying to work his way towards the front as best as he can. Now, obviously, we know he's one of those guys who can be patient. He's a very good super speedway racer. We're just going to have to see how long it takes for him to get back up to the front and possibly split that top four up. But either way, outside lane falling back again as the top six now have cleared the outside lane with Trey Fisher, TJ Crampton, Jessica Shelton, Bernie Mobs, Joe Despirito, and Bob Seminara.
Do want to report Austin Ogo has left the race. He is going to finish out, also out of the race now, the 61 of Anthony McCrory. So two cars, our first two retirees from tonight's event, they will finish 26th and 25th, respectively.
Tough break for those guys. They were both involved in that big wreck that we had earlier on in the event in the first restart, just as we started stage number 2. But other than that, and one spin out of Rob Evans early in stage 1, we have been caution-free in terms of contact. Obviously, 2 stage cautions as well, but we are now past halfway in this race, and we've only had 2 cautions for incident here tonight at Talladega, so very, very great to see out of these drivers. And like I mentioned earlier on, probably one of the best fields in Hallowdega that I've ever seen is Mallon.
Whoa!
Oh, that right there was a little edgy, and I don't know how they're going to rule that one. Like I mentioned, I'm not 100% sure if there's a double yellow line rule right there, but Mallon was definitely on that apron there as he passed Crampton, and now Crampton's going to fall back in the 74.
I'm at a loss of words after that one. What a move out of the 18 of Tyler Mallon. I know we said he was patient, but it looks like he's in a hurry to try and get back up into the third position. That's been his home tonight, as everyone has kept it single file as they roll through. A couple new players up here in the top 10. Levi McIntyre, my pick. He's worked his way up into the 6th position. A good run for the 99 tonight so far. And then Garrett Sidnor, he's up here. Cole Deaver just on the exit of the top 10 as well. So these guys, new names starting to appear up here at the front. But the old names, Bob Seminara, Joe Despirito, Bernie Mobs, Jessica Shelton, the dominant cars of the night.
And someone went around in the back. It was Crampton in the 74. And he's got a lot of front-end damage after this one. I'm not sure how that ensued, but I would imagine that the caution, they are still green.
Caution is out.
Are they racing back?
I believe they're racing back.
Okay, interesting little ruling there with manual cautions. Didn't know they were racing back to the line right there, but they are racing back officially right here. And I imagine they're going to keep it clean. So our third caution for incident here tonight on lap number 53. And the number 74 of TJ Crampton, who got shuffled out of line there by Tyler Mallon, who did go below the double yellow line. And unfortunately, don't quite know the ruling of that one, but that 74 machine, Crampton's not going to be happy after that move of after Tyler Mallon. And definitely not with what happened right here. And he's got some damage, and that is going to effectively take him out of this race. So the caution back out here, lap 54 of 94. Going to be interesting to see how it all goes down here at Talladega as Bob Seminara leads the field in the 712.
Producer in my ear said that everything is raced back for these cautions, so that is why these guys are racing back. So just want to clarify that for you folks. So caution number 5 on the night. Bob Seminara and everyone else, they get to catch their breath. We'll try it again.
See if these guys come down the pit lane, and if they do not, we'll quickly review the incident that happened with TJ Crampton. Now, this is where things get interesting. We have 40 laps to go, so if these guys come down right now, they can make it on one more stop, no doubt about it. It's going to be interesting to see who comes down the pit lane. Seminara peeked out a little bit there, but they will be coming down right here, so we will follow with this battle on the pit lane, and everyone's going to come down right here. So this is going to be interesting to see who gets the advantage here. And you're wondering, we said at the top of the show the tires don't mean too much, but do you think now might be a good time to possibly get some fresh tires? I'm not sure if they already have or not, but running a 94-lap race on one set of tires, even in a place like this, may not exactly be the best thing to do.
No, may not be. The best thing to do is Seminara is clean into his stall, looking to come out first once again. And it has been quite a night as Seminara will exit off first. Joe DeSpirito in second. So good moves out of them. Tyler Mallon, he has regained third spot. Big things for him. Bernie Mobbs, fourth. Jessica Shelton, fifth. Levi McIntyre, sixth. Blake Warren, seventh. Donnie Garrett, a good rebound. He is up to eighth. Nick Gunther now ninth. And then in the 10th position, I believe, Cole Deaver here. Actually, sorry, Cody Lamas. Or no, Dylan Young. Man, I'm all over the place with these guys.
There's a lot of guys out there. We'll see what happened here to TJ Crampton in the number 74 machine that brought out the 5th caution of the night and the 3rd for incident, as we had 2 stage cautions here. And as you're on the final stage of the event, quickly show you what happened here to the number 74 machine. And he was falling behind quite a bit, and an interesting little moment there with Dylan Young. I don't know if Young came up on him or not, or if he came down trying to draft, but Travis Crampton got the short end of the stick with that one. Let's see one more time, see exactly how this ensued. And, Dylan Young actually tapped the apron and came up. So this was not, oh my. Young came right up on Crampton, and Crampton could not react in time and into the outside wall he went. That is a tough break there for TJ. He was running in the 5th position before Mallon made that bold move to the inside of him through the tri-oval. And now he is going to effectively be out of contention in winning tonight's event. Going to restart right here with Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito, Tyler Mallon, Bernie Mobbs, Levi McIntyre alongside Blake Warren in the 3rd row. Donnie Garrett back up here with Nick Gunther, and Dylan Young, who was the cause of the incident effectively, going to be alongside Cody Lamas in row number 5. I believe TJ Crampton's still out there in the 74, so we'll have to see what he can do, but he has effectively lost the draft at this point as we are back to racing with a wreck behind them. That is Trey Fisher around, and this is going to be called off, and they will most likely race back to the line right here and call another yellow, as that was not a clean restart at all. Roger Ray, Matt Watkins, and Trey Fisher going around, and they're going to single file up front. But we will end up with another restart most likely. I do believe the caution would be back out for that.
Caution is out on the racetrack. They are racing back. Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito gets moved out of line here and maybe trying to get some shuffling here for the next restart. Tyler Mallon going to try and shuffle the 24 as far back as you can get him and separate him from his buddy. in Bob Seminara. Here they come to the line, still side by side. Nick Gunther going to try and steal second at the same time there. 3 wide for second, and it is going to go to Tyler Mallon just barely.
Yeah, that was intentional out of Despirito's part. He wants to be right behind Seminara on this restart, and he'll get that inside lane for this restart by restarting in third. Mallon will end up being on the outside lane, so that was a planned move out of Despirito, I do believe, to let Mallon take that second position, because that's going to make it much easier for Despirito to get right behind Seminara and push him to the lead.
Smart move out of the 24 of Joe Despirito. Shows veteran awareness, if you will, to be able to still hang behind your teammate here on this next restart and shuffle one of the better cars out there. Is stuck on the outside line, and he's going to have Nick Gunther as his pusher.
So it'll definitely be an interesting restart, but this was also an interesting restart, and not in a good way, unfortunately, as Trey Fisher was one of the first drivers to go around in this. He was one of the first guys I saw. Somebody spun the tires, I think. I'm trying to see who it was. Yeah, right there. And may have been Blake Warren, and Trey Fisher did not react in time. He got into Dylan Young. That whole inside lane got held up there. Jessica Sheldon with damage. And then right there, Matt Watkins got into Roger Ray, and Trey Fisher. Oh, and we also had Sinor get in the Cole Deaver right here. So it was two separate incidents. And then Deaver went around and got into Trey Fisher in the 09. That whole restart was a mess. Reminds me a lot of that restart that we had in the Busch Clash in real life NASCAR back in February. No, we probably have all forgotten that. So much has happened since that. But still, that reminded me a lot of that. They just did not get that thing figured out at all. And you guys getting spun around there in the back, including Roger Ray, Matt Watkins, and of course Trey Fisher there, who has some significant left side damage from that incident.
Yeah, just a little bit of restart jitters, I guess. And it's brought out our sixth caution of the night. Everyone else, I don't believe anybody other than the cars that spun headed to the pits. And I do want to also point this out. TJ Crampton, he has taken his car behind the wall and is done for the night. He'll finish out in the 24th position.
A tough break there for TJ Crampton. You see right there from the spectator cam. That just didn't work for a lot of guys. Raj Ray, Matt Watkins, Dylan Young in the middle of all that. Jessica Sheldon, and of course Trey Fisher, who got the worst of that one as he hit that inside arm cove right there, right where the emergency vehicle's come out. Not a good hit there for the driver of the number 09. Either way, get back to racing here, and that was, like I said, a very, very smart move out of the number 24 of Joe Despirito and helping this 712. Obviously, Despirito and Seminara, it's this year's Andrew Miller and Tyler Mallon. Obviously, last year, Andrew Miller, Tyler Mallon, they were right on each other pretty much the entire race, and that's what's been going on with Despirito and the 712 of Bob Seminara. So we'll have to see how they have managed this restart. Hopefully this is a cleaner restart here at Talladega. Levi McIntyre back behind those guys. We got Tyler Mallon there in the 18 on the outside with Nick Gunther. Bernie Mobbs alongside Levi McIntyre. Then you got the number 76 of Donnie Garrett, Roger Ray, who was actually spun on that restart in 8th. And then Cole Deaver alongside the number 16 of Garrett Sinor. Going to be a fun restart here.
Going to be really interesting to see how the outside line can react to this restart. Joe Despirito really going to give a big push here to Bob Seminara. Same Bernie Mobbs. He's going to be separated from these guys for a minute. He's on third on that outside line. Because Levi McIntyre is going to restart fifth here behind these guys. Let's see how this pans out. They hit the line. Lap 59 will go on the board. 36 laps to go here tonight at Talladega. Seminara's on the gas. Green flag in the air. Great restart for both the 712 and the 24. 18 got going, but the 99 spun the tires, and that's going to allow the 55 and the 90 to slide to the inside line. As that's going to leave Mallon out to dry.
Yeah, you said it right there. They're going to leave Mallon out to dry right there, and I don't think Mallon's going to be too happy about that, but I don't know. I feel like the strongest car is Seminara, and Despirito, we really don't know how strong Despirito is per se, but, Despirito could easily, on that final lap, if they stay like this until the end, pull right alongside that 712 and take this one away. We're just going to have to see how it all goes down, but they have paced this field all day long. Nick Gunther in third, Bernie Mobbs in fourth, and Levi McIntyre in fifth. Then you got Donnie Garrett, Tyler Mallon fell all the way back to 7th. Garrett Senor, Jessica Shelton, and Roger Ray, the top 10. And they're back to single file. You got to keep in mind, they're going to have one more pit stop in this race. It will be a green flag pit stop if it stays green, of course. So they're not going to have another scheduled caution to make that pit stop. We'll have to see. The way things have been going lately, we could easily end up with our 6th caution of the night and an opportunity for these guys to make their last pit stop of the event.
Just an incredible racing tonight. Top 10, all single file from Seminara all the way back to Sid Nord, who's, I believe, just outside the top 10. So 13 cars. Actually, no, that's not him. That's Seth Cole that's way back there, tail end of this group, 13th. And further back, some guys still trying to run well. Dylan Young, Cole Deaver, also Matt Watkins as well. So still a lot of contenders in this thing tonight as RJ Bishop makes another unscheduled stop, and the 712 just continues to dominate up at the front with his buddy Joe DeSpirito running right behind him, and that separation of him and Bernie Mobbs with Nick Gunther right in the middle of an RTG sandwich. We're going to see how that pans out if the 90's able to move the 55 out of the way.
Oh, boy.
Well, I guess you could do that because there goes the 55 way to the bottom and now move the 90 to the inside. I guess he heard me there, Alex.
Yeah, I don't think Gunther's going to be too happy with that one. Bernie Mobbs, and that was exactly what DeSpirito did to Roger Ray earlier on in the race, right in the backstretch. And that's a good place to do it, though, too, because everyone's going straight, and there's a lot of room down there to make moves. As Mallon, speaking of making moves, was looking to the inside of Donnie Garrett, but that's not going to happen. And remember, Donnie Garrett was the one who hit that apron and spun into Mallon earlier on, so can't imagine Mallon's going to race the number 76 with too much clearance right there, but they're going to stay right in line there, and Levi McIntyre is the one who's going to get shuffled out of line. Tough break for him as he was running in the 5th position, but I think for McIntyre, he just wants to finish this race. He's never finished one of these events here before. Knock on wood, hopefully he does here tonight, and currently going to fall back to around the 10th position after he got shuffled out of line there.
He was very close last year. He ran 2/3 of the race, and before getting taken out by our colleague in Matthew Rodriguez at the end of towards the end of the race last year, is now Gunther is going to try to use that apron, doing advantage. Bernie Mobbs, Donnie Garrett out of shape. That's going to separate some guys. It's going to move some
Everyone
guys.
out of shape. Mallon on the apron.
Out of shape as well. He's going to come back up onto the racetrack. Is everyone going to miss him? My goodness, how'd they all save it?
I don't know. It was happening so fast that we missed it there live and around in the back of the field. Blake Warren and Seth Cole. And Warren's going to hit the inside wall. And there's going to be your caution right there. And that was probably a bit of a result of that incident. Mallon with left side damage. And how about this? It's still the same top 3 right there. Bob Seminara going to win the race back to the line once again. Very, very interesting lap right there. This isn't a good opportunity for these guys to top off as we have 31 laps to go. So it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out here. I don't think any of these guys are going to come down the pit lane this time, though, because they're going to still have to make another stop anyway. But Mallon may have hit that inside wall here. We're going to have to see what all ensued right here. Mallon's with a lot of damage in the number 18 machine.
And after he had just gotten back up to the top 5 running well, got shuffled back on that restart, so he kind of got shuffled to the hornet's nest, and ended up being the downfall of him, as he's going to have more damage to repair on that number 18 Interstate Batteries Toyota.
And we'll see what happened right here. It all kind of started with Nick Gunther, Bernie Mobbs right there. They got out of line. They saved it. Donnie Garrett then had to go below the apron. And then you see Garrett Senor just trying to react. He's on the outside there of Tyler Mallon. Mallon didn't do anything. He just stayed right where he was, but ended up in a 3-wide situation. Now you see Jessica Shelton coming with a full head of steam, and Mallon was unaware of that. And Shelton going to spin the 18 off of her front bumper right there. Now this, we didn't quite catch it when it happened live, but we're going to see a great move out of Mallon, these guys, to avoid an accident right here. Senor was right there. He was able to drive around. Cody Lamas had to hit the brakes, though. as Malin came up. And they're still squirrely as Shelton was on the apron. Roger Ray was behind her. Levi McIntyre in the middle of all that. And then, as a result of all of that, Blake Warren on this outside lane comes through. Cole Devers on the inside of him. And he cuts down. And that right there is why we're under yellow. Seth Cole also caught up, nowhere to go for the admin of the race. He's had his fair share of interesting moments here tonight as well.
Yeah, so Cole Deaver did end up claiming the wreck, so he'll take an end-of-line penalty and drop to the end of the longest line. As said, race off a pit road win is this. Bob Seminara still your leader. Joe DeSpirito second. Bernie Mobbs third. Donnie Garrett fourth. Roger Ray, he came out fifth. Levi McIntyre sixth. Jessica Shelton seventh. Garrett Sidnor eighth. Tyler Mallon rebounds to ninth out of the pits. And Dylan Young rounds out your top 10 coming out of the pits with Nick Gunther being the biggest loser on the pits, falling all the way back to 11th.
I find it interesting that they're coming down the pit lane here because they will still have to come back down again. Now, then again, get enough yellows in this race, they may be able to stretch it, but I highly, highly doubt that they would be able to do that. That's very unlikely, but everything that ensued here in real time one more time, and Blake Warren and Seth Cole going around. I don't think anyone's going to get knocked out from this one. Bit of damage there on the 43 machine, but just the way it's been. Hasn't been like that too much here tonight, but still very, very interesting moment right there of Tyler Mallon. Thankfully, it was not a huge wreck, and most of these guys are going to be able to continue here in Hallowdega.
Getting ready for the restart here. Everybody going to line it up here 2 by 2. When they get to the line, it'll be 29 laps to go. Still a long way to go here tonight. And we're closing in, Alex, on that window of where the excitement's going to pick up within the final 15 laps. If these guys can keep it green to that point, it's going to get really exciting. Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito now is going to be set on the outside of his buddy. But he's got Bernie Mobbs behind him in third, so maybe we'll get a new second-place pusher, or will the 90 let him go down? Green flag back in the air. We're racing again here in Talladega, and that's exactly what's going to happen. DeSpirito will fall in line behind the 712, and Bernie Mobbs will settle into third. The battle will be on for fourth, as Donnie Garrett and Roger Ray now battle for that position as the RTG guys go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and Tyler Mallon able to rebound as well. He's right there in that inside lane, still in contention. You know, if Mallon wins this race, that would be a huge, huge rally for him. At one point, he was a lap down. Donnie Garrett's not going to let him get a position right there as he cuts down to the inside. And Levi McIntyre left out to try him that outside lane. But Mallon still in contention here. So is Jessica Shelton. Roger Ray's up here again as well. Garrett Sonor, Nick Gunther, Dylan Pote, all on this inside lane. Single file right now on lap 66 of 94, coming to lap 67. And Bob Seminara, who's led a majority of this event, probably 95% of the event up to this point, continues to lead here at Talladega as Donnie Garrett hit the apron again. That's going to check the field up, but we remain green here at Talladega.
Oh, no. The 76 didn't hit the apron. The 18 just about hooked the 76. Don't know if that's payback for earlier, but that killed a lot of momentum for a lot of people. That 18 is in a hurry. The patience is starting to wear thin on that Interstate Batteries Toyota driver.
And that may have ended up hurting Mallon more than it did helping him. And obviously, I can understand the frustration with Donnie Garrett from the prior incident, but I don't know if that's going to help anybody out right there. That's going to allow this top five to pull away. And outside of Roger Ray, it's that same top four that dominated stage 2. So these guys all on a line right here. Seminara, DeSpirito, Bernie Mobbs, and Roger Ray's going to peek out of line, and Shelton's going to go right back into her traditional position. This has been the most common top 4 all day long, as the caution will fly. As around went Rob Evans, I do believe. Heavy damage on the 21 in the back of the field. Going to be a huge saving grace for Tyler Mallon.
Yeah, the Coors Light Ford, lots of damage. Might be the end of his night. A lot of right side damage. Filling in for Michael Norman tonight. And my goodness, we're going to have to look back and see what happened, as that was, I believe, nowhere near our leaders. And gives us commentators another chance to take a breath here as we'll look back in just a moment.
And we'll quickly see what happened here. The Rob Evans, and He's had a tough night. Obviously, spun earlier on in the event around lap number 6 and spun in the first big accident that we had of the night. This is what happened in real time, and Cole Devers to the inside of him right there. Oh, wow. Looks like Deaver may just run right into him and hard into the outside wall. Deaver also hard into the outside wall, and that 3 may be done after that one. Tough break for those guys, but they had lost the draft, so their chances of winning were pretty much slim to none at that point, and it looks like they're both going to be out of the race after that one.
Wow. I just went back and looked at it myself. That was pretty clean cut. I don't know if the 3 got loose or anything like that, but I don't know.
A little interesting. That's all I'm going to say about that one. A few guys coming down the pit lane, but we're still not at that window yet where these guys can make it. Go over the guys who stayed out. Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito, Bernie Mobbs, Roger Ray, Donnie Garrett, Tyler Mallon. Watch out for Garrett and Mallon. They've had a couple of moments in this one. Nick Gunther, Blake Warren, and Cody Lamas, I believe, also stayed. Lamas may have come down. I think he's the first guy to come off the pit lane right there to top off on fuel. Levi McIntyre, Matt Watkins, Garrett Sonor, Andrew Lemke's on the lead lap with all that rear end damage. We really haven't seen him up front that much, but he's been able to keep that 70 on the lead lap. I think he got the free pass at one point, which is why he's still in this position. Trey Fisher back up there in 14th. Jessica Shelton fell back, but she did come down the pit lane there. Dylan Poteet, Dylan Young, and Seth Cole, Carson Gum also still in the race. And Felipe Chisadra going to get back on the lead lap, I do believe, in the number 10 machine. I'm not sure if he was the free pass on this caution or not, but he is, in fact, back on the lead lap in the number 10. And if he gets back up front, he could have a shot at this race victory. But those are the 20 drivers still in this event. Have a few guys out of the race, including Rob Evans and Cole Deaver. I don't believe either of those drivers are still on the racetrack. Actually, Rob Evans is still on the racetrack. He is a lap down in 21st. So Cole Deaver joins TJ Crampton. Anthony McCurry, one of those guys who is out of the race. Austin Ogo as well. And I don't remember who the other ones are.
RJ Bishop.
And there's one more, I do believe, and can't officially remember who that was, unfortunately. But we'll have to see how it all shakes out here for this restart. We're going to restart on lap 70 of 94, 25 laps to go. And we're left with about 20 cars on the racetrack from a 26-car field, so things are going to really get interesting here. A lot of guys still in contention for this race victory. And look at that move there out of Roger Ray and Joe DeSpirito on the inside. They're going to leave Mallon out to try again, as all those guys on that inside lane looking to get that good advantage that an inside lane has brought this entire race.
Mallon has no help. The nearest help is the 99 of Levi McIntyre. Lemke steps out of line with all that damage. He's going to let these guys just try to race it and try to maybe scramble for a decent position. But Mallon still now no help because the 99 slipped back to the inside line. Now Warren gets shifted out of line by the 99. So now the 18 will finally have some help, but the 18 will continue to cascade to the back. He's going to officially round out, I believe, in the 7th position as they head to the line. 24 to go here tonight in Hallowdega.
And for the most part, these guys are single file. We do have Trey Fisher on the outside lane back in there. But for the most part, it's a pretty clean race up here. And these guys have been racing clean for the most part. Obviously, that last incident and we also had that restart incident as well. A lot of these incidents that we've had outside of that one where Tyler Mallon did an incredible job saving his race car have just been in the back of the field. These guys have not raced too hard up front quite yet. And I'm wondering, these guys are probably going to wait until we get that green flag or get that cycle of pit stops. It may not be green flag. It could be green flag, but odds are we may end up with another caution before we get to that point. And like I said, the fuel window 19 to 21 laps. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out for those guys running up front in this one. But Bob Seminara running up front has been what he has done literally all day in the number 712 machine. And he continues to dominate this race here at Talladega on lap 72 of 94.
Tyler Mallon gets shifted out of line again, and there is literally no one out there to help him, so he's going to fall further back. Now, Matt, Hawkins gets shifted out of line as well. Sorry, Matt Watkins. Then the number 30, but now Mallon slides back in line fine. 21 of Rob Evans, he is now officially out of the race, and that is going to leave us with 20 cars on the lead lap and in the race itself. So, and only one of them really off the pace being Andrew Lemke. So, got 19 cars really in contention for a victory tonight when they get to the line. 22 laps to go, and still Bob Seminara and Joe DeSpirito and have a loss of words here. Bernie Mobbs, Roger Ray, and Donnie Garrett, your top five right now, a stranglehold of the top five as they roll through to turn number one.
And can anyone release the stranglehold of Seminara and DeSpirito up front in this one? That's going to be the big question. They've been 1-2 pretty much this entire race. And Mallon is the guy we've all been watching in this event to do so, but not many people are willing to work with him so far in this one. We'll have to see if he can find his way to the front before the end of this race. Blake Warren and Matt Watkins going to fall to the back of the field right there. Almost looks like the number 43 may have an issue as he is really falling back in that 43 machine. Tough break there for Blake Warren, who was running up front, but you now see the gap where he used to be. Levi McIntyre and Garrett Tenor. The ends of those packs is Nick Gunther going to peek out a line, and that's going to give Tyler Mallon a position in the number 18.
It's going to also give the 99 a position. The 55 is going to try and slide down here in front of Garrett Sidnor, which he does. And now Sidnor had to check up, and they're not even going to let the 55 get in line. Now they will, as Sidnor finally is able to let him in. He'll settle out into the 8th position, does Gunther. As Mallon and company trying to mount something. Gunther stepping out again, thinking, is anyone going to go with him? No one's going with him, and that's going to cost them more spots as they head through 3.
No, Cody Lamas going to go with him there in the number 48 machine, but 2 cars is not going to work as well as 14. Oh, boy. Gunther trying to get back to that inside lane. He's going to leave Lamas out on that outside lane. He lost 1 position there to Garrett Sonor, and he's going to try again. Now he's got Dylan Poteet there on that outside lane. Keeps on looking at the outside lane and keeps on falling back, but he's going to find his way back to the inside again.
There's no one willing to work with him right now, and I understand why. We're 20 laps to go. I'm not going to see that outside line again until 10 laps to go. Dylan Young peeks out there, but he should slide back in line in a minute. So Gunther just needs to be patient. Speaking of patience, Donnie Garrett and Tyler Mallon, they're at it again. Here is Garrett's going to get moved out of line by Tyler Mallon, and Garrett will slide to the end of the inside.
He's going to fall all the way back in the number 76 machine right there. It's a tough break there for Donnie Garrett. Mallon's going to move up to 5th. It's Seminara, DeSpirito, Roger Ray, Bernie Mobbs, and Tyler Mallon, the top 5 as Donnie Garrett. And go all the way to the end of the pack after that one. Can't imagine he's going to be too happy with that move right there, but Mallon's done that a couple of times. As a matter of fact, actually, 24 DeSpirito did it. And Bernie Mobbs also did it in this race. So Mallon's not the only one who's making that move there, but that may be the only way to make a move in this single file line. And Mallon's been trying all he can to get up front in this race. 19 laps to go, 18 to go next time by. The last came down with about 31 laps to go in this race. And I would imagine roughly around lap 84, 85, these guys are going to be due for another set of pit stops. Now, there are some guys who did come down under the caution after the rest of these guys came down. They'll be able to go a little bit longer as Mallon goes around McIntyre as well, and a huge wreck
the big one
right across the start-finish line. And once again, Levi McIntyre caught up in this one. Cody Lamas, Felipe Chisadra in the 10. And Mallon got spun off again, but I think he avoided contact again. Donnie Garrett in the 76, also with damage. And now we have our perfect opportunity for these drivers to come down the pit lane, top off, and race it until the end. So pit strategy will not come into effect. And I feel the most for Levi McIntyre right there. Hopefully he can be able to continue at least, like we mentioned, never finished one of these Hallowdega special events before. And he got caught up in that one, but no front end damage on that 99 machine, just rear end damage. And hopefully he can get that fixed and possibly have a shot at least finishing this event. I know he's probably not going to have a shot at winning, But I think at this point he'd love to finish this one. And hey, that may end up being what saves him to finish this race, because if he's off the pace from the pack, he should be able to ride it out until the end. We'll just have to see. Now we're going to come down the pit lane right here, the top off for their last stop of the night. And this tank of fuel will take them to the end of the race. Bob Seminara in the 712 has led practically every lap tonight. We'll have to see if anyone beats him off the pit lane right here.
I was gonna say before that caution had come out that if a caution were to come out at any point where we were at before when the caution did end up coming out, these guys would have to. This was going to be the last pit stop. These guys are now good to go to the finish of this one tonight. Watching on the pit lane cam here to see if Seminaire is going to win the race off. It's looking like he is going to with ease, a little closer than past ones, but he does win the race off. Despirito, he comes off in second. Jessica Shelton rolls off third this time. Bernie Mob's fourth. Roger Ray fifth. Donnie Garrett sixth. I believe, trying to find seventh here. My goodness, trying to find a Matt Watkins ends up seventh. Dylan Poteet eighth. Blake Warren ninth. And then Garrett Sidnor rounds out the top 10 as they come off of the pits. They go green this time. We will go green with 16 to go here tonight in Hallowdega. Folks, I do want to remind you, you're here watching on the Flatout Racing Network. I'm Carlos Zimmerman, and doing a lot of the good stuff tonight alongside of me, Alexander Graham, also known as Napa Fan. Man, we have had quite an exciting race, and we're right around the precipice of when I said the excitement was going to pick up. So we're closing in on 15 to go tonight.
Absolutely, and it's definitely going to pick up here for this, what will hopefully be a final restart, but probably not going to be the last restart of the night, as we quickly see what happened. Malin might have just gotten spun off by Levi McIntyre. Cody Lamas got caught up, Dylan Young as well, and Tesajo with heavy damage too. Tough break for those guys. McIntyre might have gotten the worst of that one in the number 99, but definitely, Carlos, a very intense race is about to happen, about to brew here in Hallowdega, and it's going to be interesting because Seminara and Despirito have been the dominant guys, but the big question is, will anybody be able to dethrone them at the end of this event? I don't know. It's like I said, it's looking a lot like last year when Mallon and Miller dominated this race. Seminara and Despirito have been the class of the field, but it's Seminara, Despirito, Shelton, Bernie Mobbs, Roger Ray, Donnie Guerin, Matt Watkins. That's probably the highest he's been all race long. Dylan Pope-T, Garrett Sonor, and Blake Warren, the top 10. Mallon going to restart in 11th. He's been spun around a few times, but he still has a clean race car. This is going to be interesting as we restart with 15-16 laps to go here at Talladega.
Bernie Mobbs did not get a good restart there. That's going to... The 24 stuck on the outside, but Jessica Shelton lets the 24 down onto the inside, and there we go again. The 712 and the 24, the duo that have been dominant all night long, maintain themselves up there 1-2 with Jessica Shelton and Roger Ray third and fourth. Here comes Watkins battling for fifth with Bernie Mobbs caught on the outside going backward.
Yeah, it's not a good position for Bernie Mobbs, and he is more than likely going to fall off the pace from those top four, so it may make it a little bit easier for the rest of the field to beat these RTG guys, but we're just going to have to see how it all plays out. We still have a little ways to go. Coming to 15 laps to go here at Talladega. It's Bob Seminara, Joe Despirito, Jessica Shelton, Roger Ray, and Matt Watkins in the fifth position. And you know, he's had a very nice and clean race. He might have gotten spun around once. But outside of that, he's kind of been in the back of the field. And, you know, he's an example of laying back, actually working in what is it called? A restrictor plate race, I should say. Lots of times we see those guys in the back get caught up in their own accidents, but Matt Watkins has been able to avoid those, thankfully. And he has a shot at winning this race now, running in the fifth position with 15 laps to go.
Welcome, folks, to what we're going to just call here on Halloween the witching hour. It's the fourth quarter. Last chance for these guys to try and make it up there. Losing is going to become winning. Winning is going to become losing in these final 14 laps when we come around here to hit the start-finish line. Who is going to get it done in these final few laps? Bob Seminara seems to be the favorite. Joe Despirito, will he eventually make a move on his buddy in RTG? Or will anyone else try to make their name here inside the top 10 to try and pick up a victory tonight? 14 to go now as they head to the back.
Very interesting move there out of Roger Ray. I think he intentionally hit the brake to possibly get a run on Sheldon these guys. You got an outside lane forming, though, and I don't know if that's going to help Ray and Watkins out. Donnie Garrett with Blake Warren, Dylan Poteet, and Nick Gunther trying to get something to work on the outside lane. Going to have to see if they can get anything to work, but Garrett's going to file right back in line, and they're all going to stay in line here. We do have the Sager there and Cody Lamas on the outside in the back of the field. Bernie Mobbs fell way back in the number 90 machine. He's only back in 15. That may be the deepest he's been all night long. They remain single file. We got some more double wide action. Blake, we're going to try again on an outside lane with Poteet and Gunther. And they got a lot of room there to get back to that inside lane. But Sinor and Mallon are coming on that inside. We'll have to see if they can find a way to the inside of Gunther and Poteet.
They're going to move Sidnor to the inside, so he's going to start falling back. That might give these guys an opportunity to slide back down, and we'll try it again. I think what they need to do is they need to find a faster leader. And this is no shot at Blake Warren. He's had a great car tonight. He's kept it clean for the most part, aside from a couple wrecks, but they need someone faster like Poteet, like Mallon, to be leading that outside line to try and make a run at these front few cars. And indeed, I think they heard me, because now Warren's going to slide to the back of this inside line, as it's now going to be Poteet could be quasi-leading that outside line if they try to reform.
We're just going to have to see who does it. I mean, Donnie Garrett, remember, he's an RTG guy as well. So, in a way, he's a teammate to the top three who are leading this race. So, I don't know if these guys want to push him to the front, because if that happens, it's only going to be harder to get to the race lead for the rest of these guys. So, they're still single file. A bit late in the race for this to happen, but you know what? Gives us more of an opportunity for the race of, or for the finish of this race, I should say, to be a clean one, as we have 11 laps to go. Next time by, Bob Seminara, Joe Spirito continuing to pace this field. When do you think someone in the back is going to truly try to make a move? You do have Tyler Mallon there in the 9th position. Do you think maybe he, along with McIntyre, might try to get someone to work in that outside lane?
You know, I wouldn't put it past them to try and make something happen. McIntyre, despite the damage, still has speed in this draft. He needs to stay in it for him to be able to be in contention for the victory. If he moves out of line, it's going to end his race. So he's got to be smart with Mallon. Maybe time whenever he goes. Maybe talk with him, see if he can make something happen. But right now, I think these guys are just going to calm down and wait for these final few laps to start making moves. But I think they have their guy now that they want that outside to work with, whether it be Poteet, Gunther, or Mallon leading the outside charge. When they come to the line, 10 laps to go.
And remember, the point of no return is lap number 90. So once they begin lap number 90, if a caution comes out, that caution will end the race. So we're going to have to see. They don't have much time to wreck again to avoid another caution. But either way, I don't know if any of these guys have enough time to get to Bob Seminara. This guy has led, I would have ventured to say at this point, definitely at least 75 laps, maybe close to 80 laps in this 85 laps that we have run so far. And we're just going to have to see. Maybe if it stays this way, the biggest threat to Seminara losing this race might be Joe DeSpirito on the 24. He's been patient this entire race, keeping that number 712 up front. But we might try to get that run to the outside or maybe to the inside, depending how it all works out to get that race victory. You got to think, the reason why Joe DeSpirito is in this position is because he's been patient with Bob Seminara, and they have pretty much held everyone at bay this entire night for this event, and the odds are in their favor that one of those two is going to get the race victory here with now 9 laps to go at Talladega.
Poteet gets shuffled out of line there now. He's going to fall to the back of the inside line. That's going to cost him some time to try and get back towards the front. That's going to move Gunther, Mallon, and McIntyre just another spot further ahead. So they're going to have to see how this goes. DeSpirito still content to ride behind his buddy in the 712. Jessica Shelton, a buddy to them as well. She sits third, trying to maybe make something happen here in the final few laps. When does the move happen out of these guys that are running 6th, 7th, and 8th right now?
They still got a little bit of time left, but they are being very patient. Now, obviously, we saw in stage 1, that was pretty much the only time this whole race that they were able to run side by side consistently without wrecking. And essentially at this point, we're probably in the position where we're going to see that here soon. They obviously can move side by side and race hard for the win. The big question is, when do you want to do it? It's not going to take too long for these guys if they all work together in the back to move up to the front and get alongside Seminara. The question is, of course, when or if are they going to do it? Just going to have to see how it all plays out here. Going to be lap 88 and 94 next time to cross the line. 7 laps to go next time by here at Talladega for Bob Seminara in the 712.
Want to remind you folks, the completion of lap 90 is the point of no return. We are 3 laps away from that. Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito, Jessica Shelton, Roger Ray, and Matt Watkins, top 5 right now, trying to find out who is going to take the checkered flag in the 6th annual Hallowdega special event here in the NNSCRA and on the Flatout Racing Network. Who's going to do it? It's only a matter of time before someone back there decides to make a move. When will they make it? We still don't know, as these 14 drivers that are in this lead pack are going to be the ones to figure out a winner here tonight.
Going to be interesting to see which one of them it is. Not much going on right now. They are all still being very patient here, and now they finally have learned their lesson. Obviously, we've seen the incidents that have occurred and how much all the moving around keeps you behind these guys, but they're still behind these guys, and at some point here soon, they're going to have to start making moves on Seminara and DeSpirito. I'd imagine once we hit that point of no return next time by, these guys are going to start lighting it up on the racetrack and going to get those 2 RTG drivers up front with Seminara and DeSpirito. But who will it be and how will they do it here at Talladega? We got to move in the back there. Cody Lamas, Felipe Teixeira there in the 10, and Dylan Poteet in the 8 machine. First move we've seen in a little while there in that outside lane. We'll have to see if Malin joins them or Nick Gunther possibly in that inside lane. They're trying to get something to work there as Levi McIntyre stuck in that inside.
Yeah, and they just don't have the speed right now. 9 cars is going to beat 3 cars every time. Now Seth Cole steps out to maybe try and help them, but now they back off. That's cost them a little bit of time. They're going to need at least a lap to try and regenerate and get back to these guys to maybe try and start making another mount. They're at the line. 5 laps to go in Hallowdega's race tonight.
And we are at the point of no return. So if a caution comes out now, the race will end. Big question is, will anybody try to make a move? Will a caution come out? So many questions to be answered here in the next 5 laps here at Talladega. And Bob Seminara, who has led 95% of this event, still dominates here at Talladega. The big question is, will anybody try to make a move on him before the end of this race? There's still single file throughout the entire pack. Seminara still leading in the 712. DeSpirito right behind him. Malin looking, but no one to help him behind. And still single file with 4 laps to go here at Talladega.
Now it's official. Any caution from now forward ends this race. Who's going to make the move? Do they wait for the 2 laps to go? At that point, I think it's too late. You got to go get them maybe now or in the next lap or so, because they have been so quick up there. Maybe it's going to have to be somebody who's around 3rd or 4th in Jessica Shelton and Roger Ray to make a move to get those guys behind them moving.
We're just going to have to see. All these guys still in line. I think for DeSpirito and Shelton, they're going to stay behind Seminara until the end of the race. Roger Ray, he's kind of content with where he's been running here. I haven't seen him trying to make too many moves. Matt Watkins really don't know. This is the highest he has run all night long, and here he is in 5th. DeSager is going to try someone on an outside lane in the 10, but no help, and he's going to fall back to the end of the pack. Going to be 3 laps to go this time by for Bob Seminara here in Hallowdega. Will he get this race victory in his first ever start in this event?
Levi McIntyre has lost the draft. It's now 13 cars in this lead pack to find a victor here tonight. Lap 92 on the board. Who makes the move and when do they make it? Can they all time it? Is what's going to be the key here, as everyone is still content to run behind the 712 of Bob Seminara. When they come to the line, it will be 2 laps to go here tonight in Talladega. Who has got the advantage? Seminara has had DeSpirito behind him all night long. Does the 24 make a move at some point in these final 2 laps? Here they come for the 2 to go.
Bob Seminara, there's only so much he can do in this event because he's been held by that 24 all race long. He's had the easiest race, and the second easiest race has come to Joe DeSpirito, and they're 1-2 right now. We're just going to have to see if they can hold it until the end. Nobody in the back making a move quite yet. And I'm wondering if they're running out of time. It's 2 laps to go. Now is go time. I mean, if you're Tyler Malin, you got to go now. If you're any of these guys outside the top 5, you got to go now. Roger Ray may be trying to do something there. He's going to have to get everyone to help him, though, here. Next time by a white flag here at Talladega.
No help for the 84. And now there's a little bit of a gap between The 9 and the 84 could be a chance for him to suck up and maybe bring the pack with him when they come to the line. A white flag will fly. 1 lap to go. Who is going to get it done? Can Bob Seminara be dethroned? Will it be his teammate there in the 24? Will the 9 make a move? White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Here goes Ray, maybe trying to make a run. Couldn't do it as they head to 1.
And they are still single file on the final lap of this race. Nobody being able to make a move, and Seminara pulling out to this race lead, and that is exactly how Joe DeSpirito wants it to be. But they're going to try something in the back of the field. Mountain leading an outside lane charge, but they may be too far behind. There goes Donnie Garrett to the outside. Will Roger Ray make a move to that outside lane? They're trying, but they may just be too far behind. Malin goes back to the inside, and it's going to be one of these top 3. Seminara, DeSpirito, Jessica Shelton. Will DeSpirito try to make a move? Here comes Shelton on the outside lane. Will Seminara make a move to block? Shelton is coming in the number 9 at the stripe, side by side. Bob Seminara is going to win it. He led nearly every lap, but it came down to maybe, just maybe, 5/1000ths of a second at the stripe. Bob Seminara, deservingly so, wins NNSCRA Hallowdega 2020. Oh my goodness. He almost lost it, and that would have hurt really, really bad if he lost it after dominating that event, and somehow he's going to pull it off. Jessica Shelton with such a great move to that outside lane. She almost had it. She almost had it. But not enough for the number 9, as Bob Seminara, one of the most dominating performances I've ever seen, gets the job done here at Talladega. Oh, boy. Look at this.
Wow.
And she had a lot of help there. Those guys were on that outside lane there. Roger Ray, Matt Watkins. She had more momentum than Seminara, but that line comes right at you. And barely. DeSpirito was doing all he can to push that 712 right there at the line. That 712 got it done. We'll just do it frame by frame. Bob Seminara. Right there. Doesn't get any closer than that. We'll get some interviews here eventually. But Bob Seminara gets it done. And he burns the house down here at Talladega, winning on Halloween with the victory in the 2020 NNSCRA Hallowdega special event.
I'm looking at the finish myself here, frame by frame, and my goodness, it was that close. Jessica Shelton almost, she timed it right. Just needed a little bit more, but DeSpirito was pushing the mess out of the 712 of Bob Seminara. And man, that LaJoie's recycling machine, that Scooby-Doo machine, heading to victory lane tonight. My goodness, what a finish to this one.
Wow. Wow. This race never disappoints. That was very, very, very fun to watch right there. Take a look. Give the official standings. I said 5/1000ths of a second. It was 6/1000ths of a second at the line between Bob Seminara and Jessica Shelton. Seminara with the race victory. Shelton in the second. Joe DeSpirito, Roger Ray, Matt Watkins. Tyler Mallon finished 6th. I think that's a great finish for Mallon, all things considered. Then you got Donnie Garrett there in the 7th. Nick Gunther, Cody Lamas, and Dylan Poteet, the top 10. Seth Cole, Bernie Mobbs, Felipe Tresadra, Levi McIntyre finally finished his event, albeit 23 seconds off the pace. He finished there in 14th. Carson Gum, Blake Warren, Garrett Sonor, Dylan Young, Trey Fisher, Andrew Lemke, Rob Evans, Cole Deaver, RJ Bishop, Travis Crampton, Anthony McCurry, and Austin Ogo. And from Evans down to Ogo, they were all out of the race. Lemke a lap down, 19 drivers finishing on the lead lap. Bob Seminara gets it done.
That's
thoughts
impressive.
On that one there, man.
That's impressive. 19 cars finishing this race. That's incredible. We're going to talk to our top 3. Joe DeSpirito, will bring him in first, and then Jessica Shelton and Bob Seminara. But we'll start with the 24 of Joe DeSpirito.
And Joe DeSpirito, and I got to give you the patience award, because you were probably the most patient driver this whole race. You stayed right behind Seminara the entire time. And I knew you wanted to make a move. Obviously, you want to win the race, but did you expect Jessica Shelton to come to the outside and almost beat Seminaire at the line there?
No, I wasn't expecting that. That's kind of why I stayed put. I was expecting some other cars to make that move, but it's all good. It's just a fun race. There's no league implications involved. So yeah, she made a quick move, and I almost had no choice. But I had a split-second decision, and I stayed with my guy.
Yeah, but a great run there for you, finishing in the third position, and you ran right with them the entire race. And very unique to see those guys, all you guys working together. Obviously, a lot of you guys in the RTG. I know how you guys race. I watched you guys during Talladega Challenge over the summer, and I knew you guys would definitely be threats to win this race, and you guys definitely showed us that here today. But did you guys have a game plan going into this event to kind of work together at the top of the show?
Yeah, game plan was just to stay up front, stay away from the wrecks, and I was surprised it worked out as well as it did. I was second or third the entire race. So yeah, we stayed out of all trouble, and yeah, finished third. I'm happy with it. Very fun, great event.
Well, definitely a great run. Great to see you run well in this race, and congratulations on your great run here at Talladega. Hope to see you in this race again next year. Obviously, this is one of my favorite races to do, and I love seeing you guys, especially some great drivers like you, race here and NNSCRA Hallowdega. But have a great one. Thanks for showing up, and good luck on the rest of your races.
Thanks, guys. I want to do a quick shout out to my boys at RTG. Best league around. Best league on Thursday nights. Talladega Tally Challenge. Uh, Shout out to Bob, Bernie. Shout out to you guys, Flatout Racing Network, and great event, guys. Thanks again.
That's Joe DeSpirito finishing in the third position here. Ran second most of the night, but came home in the third position as Jessica Shelton, who will be coming in here, had one wild ride to the finish, and you almost had him there. You were running third coming up a turn number 4. You had all that help there on that outside lane, and you almost got him. What was going through your mind there near the finish of that race?
Well, first off, I just want to say thanks to Bob Seminaire, Joe DeSpirito, and Bernie Mobs, because we run so well over at RTG and that we were able to pretty much have a game plan tonight to actually try to stay together as much as possible. So yeah, coming off of 4, Carlos, that I swear that was like outrageous. I know that Roger had a run because he had to run the lap prior to that, and I didn't think it was time to try or anything. And coming off of 4 the last lap, I saw the gap. I didn't want to do it on the backstretch based on, you got so much distance between myself and, Roger at that point. If I make the move, then Bob could actually go up and block, and Joe might have won the race, or Bob might have won the race, still one way or the other. So I stayed in line, waited till 4, saw the run coming, and
If it maybe the move made a second earlier, that might have been the difference. But it is what it is. Just a great run for you. You kind of fluctuated from top to bottom of the race of the leaderboard throughout. You were outside the top 10 for a little bit, then you brought it back, and then you kept it up there for the
yeah,
last 20 laps of that race.
I had a mistake on pit road. I came in and sped up just a little bit too much, and I ended up getting a black flag, which set me to the back a little bit, and then I had to work my way back up. And then there was a time where I came into pit, and I only meant to take fuel only, and I ended up taking 4 tires, and that put me back there again. But just being patient. I was the one point in this whole race, Carlos, that scared me to death was when I got in the corner of Tyler after him and Donnie got into it going in the turn 1. I ended up bumping him, and he went straight down, and I had to back off so he didn't wreck into me. I tried to let him back in, and I don't know what happened behind me, but that was really wild. And then coming in the trial with that one time when there was a wreck in front of myself as well, I had to go through the grass to avoid it, and I was pretty sure I was going to spin out, but was able to stabilize it and keep going.
Well, definitely was very fun watching on the racetrack. I'm glad you had a great finish as well and able to finish that one, but definitely a great run. Great to see you on the racetrack running well, and congratulations on your great run. Almost had it, but still, nonetheless, a great day for you here in Hallowdega.
This is like my best finish of this race. So, like I said, I'm pleased. I'm happy. Thanks to Matt for letting FRN do this. Carlos, Alexander, really appreciate it. And like I said before, Matt Watkins, really work well with him from time to time. Um, Especially big thanks to like I said before, Bob Seminara, Joe DeSpirito, Bernie Mobs for working with me. It's just a fun little thing that we wanted to do together today to see how well we can coexist outside of a league race, and seem to do pretty well. Now it's on for us for the chase for the playoffs over in RTG next week.
Well, good luck on that. Obviously, you can watch that every Thursday night here on Flatout Racing Network, so definitely recommend doing that. If you like what you saw here, definitely recommend checking that out every Thursday night here. But Jessica Shelton there finishing in second, 6/1000ths of a second behind this gentleman here in Bob Seminara. And you practically led every lap in this race, but you almost lost it on that final lap. What was going through your head there as Jessica Shelton had to run the outside?
How you doing? Yeah, I didn't like that. That would have been a shame. But I didn't know whether I should put a fender to her or not. But it was close. I couldn't held on much longer.
Well, either way, you did a great job. Obviously, you were working with Joe DeSpirito that whole race, and you're able to hold on to that lead the entire time. There was that one point in the first stage where Tyler Mellon did get to the outside of you there, and at that point, did you think, oh, I'm going to have to battle with all these guys on the outside in the whole race, or did you just hold your line on the inside and just do your thing with Joe DeSpirito?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. The bottom was definitely better. We were trying to feel it out there. I thought get some good cars on the outside. We could probably get back up there if we had to. They were running tight. They were pushing us down low. We were trying to hold our line down there. So, but yeah, it was tight racing. I didn't know if that was going to happen again later on. It may have looked easy, but it really wasn't. But that's a big win. We'll take it.
Definitely a huge congratulations to you on that one, and you deserved it. Yeah, the way you dominated this race, I would have hated for you to lose it right there at the end, especially how close it was. But hey, that's the way racing goes, and you were on the good end of that one. And congratulations on your win here in the 2020 NNSCRA Hallowdega special event.
Yeah, thank you, Alexander and Carlos. Yeah, I'd like to thank FRN, everybody. This is and Jessica for running hard tonight, and Joe and Bernie, the Florida boys were there, and RTG, Rolling Thunder Gaming. I run with them all week. They're the best out there, and FTMF, and I thank you guys, and happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween to you too, and thank you so much for joining me. Good luck on the rest of all the races. Talladega Challenge every Thursday night here on Flatout Racing Network. Good luck on all that, and once again, huge congratulations on winning here tonight at Talladega.
Thank you very much.
And that was Bob Seminara, your race winner here from Talladega. And Carlos, what were you saying here?
Well, before we actually get to wrap up, we got the I've got a word here in my ear from my producer that we get to do one more interview because.
All right. I think I know who it is here.
It's going to be the guy that has finally finished this race.
Yes.
It's Levi McIntyre.
And Levi McIntyre, you finally got to finish one of these things. I'm so happy for you, man. And when you got involved in that accident, about 20 laps to go, I was like, oh my goodness, it happened again. But you were able to stay out there, and albeit 23 seconds off the lead, you still finished on the lead lap. How are you feeling after this one, after finally finishing a Hallowdega special event?
It's 6 years overdue. I mean, just yeah, we were playing it smart during the first two stages, just hanging out in the back and avoid any commotion that was going on. It was working out very well. And then I thought to myself, you know what? It seems like either being at the very back or being at the very front's the best way to go, because if you were in between, it was trouble. So I thought, well, since tires wasn't really too much of an issue, I decided to pit with fuel only and start making some moves, and I was able to hang up there with the leaders for quite a while. Stuck behind Malin for a good portion of time, and there was one period where I was by him, and he kind of pinched me going into turn one, which kind of made me go to the orange line a little bit, and that cost me a little bit of speed, but. Then we get in that wreck where it looked like it was the 84 kind of starting to slow down, and it caused the 90 to slow down, the 18 to slow down, and I was just right there along for the ride. I probably could have made it through had I not get on the brakes a little bit, but I only did that to see if I can give Tyler room to save it, and then I got hit from behind by the 16. But and then after the pit stop, it was a 15-second stop, so I thought maybe I might still have a shot at getting a good enough finish. After Lamas and them got that outside line going towards the end, I was just left to hang. But I didn't care for the win here. I just wanted to be able to finish. And if you honestly ask me, finally finishing Hallowdega feels like a win to me because it's been 6 years, and I'm just happy I'm finally been able to finish, and I'm officially retiring from doing Hallowdega from now on because I don't have anything to prove.
Well, you did run very well in this race, and it's great to see you finally finish on the lead lap here. But either way, congratulations on that. Great to have you. Anything you want to add, Carlos?
No, I got nothing else really to add. We've nailed it down pretty well. Congrats, Levi, on finishing. I picked you to win, but
I tried, but because they were just freight training up at the front, and anytime somebody could get a run on the outside, nobody would go with them because some people weren't confident in their leadership abilities. I mean, I was tempted a few times, but I know in my history of racing on plate tracks, if I try and get an outside line going, nobody ever goes with me. But it is what it is.
well, before we let you go, do you want to give anybody a shout out?
Shout out to everybody who was watching my stream throughout this whole thing, whether it was on YouTube or Twitch. But yeah, officially retiring from Hallowdega because I got nothing left to prove. I said the goal. All I want to do is just finally finish one. I finally did. I don't have any desire to do another one to try and win, and that's all I gotta say about that.
Well, have a happy retirement from Hallowdega, and thank you so much for joining us. And once again, a huge congratulations on finally finishing here. Even though it's 14th place, like you said, still feels like a win, and we're all happy for you finally finishing Hallowdega here in 2020.
Absolutely, and hell, I might even count this as a win for myself just because it's been something I've been trying for so long, and it finally happened.
Well, either
But
way,
thank you guys.
you're very welcome. Levi McIntyre there finishing 14th, his first ever finish here in Hallowdega. He's been in this race since it began in 2015, and he has finally crossed the line on the lead lap on the final lap in NNSCRA Hallowdega. As he said, it's going to be his last one. Now he's finally done that, so happy retirement to Levi McIntyre from this race. But either way, final thoughts, Carlos. Definitely a very good race here from Talladega. Didn't see too many crashes or cautions or anything like that. They raced a lot. There's a lot of single file, but a great finish here at Talladega for the finish of this one.
Absolutely. You know, one of the best Hallowdega events. This is the third one I've had the pleasure of broadcasting. The second one, the first one for FRN. So this has been an incredible blessing to be able to do this. It was a lot of fun throughout this entire event. And now you look forward. RTG's got events and stuff like that. FRN, I don't believe they're done. We're done for the day. I believe we have other broadcasts going on later tonight, and then I'll be back tomorrow night for the Clutch Drop Racing Series. We're out at Michigan tomorrow for 120 laps in that series. I don't know who'll be with me, but should be a lot of fun on that one. That one's kicking off around 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, right here on the Flatout Racing Network. But to wrap this race up, just an incredible race. Not a lot of, like you said, not a lot of wrecking, and it was a lot of fun. If we do it again next year in 2021, I'd be sure to be glad here alongside of you, Napa fan, to bring it to the public, as it was a lot of fun today.
And same here as well. First time I ever called a race, I think, with Carlos, and obviously did a great job. And hope you folks enjoyed the event as well. And as Carlos said, a lot of stuff coming up here on Flatout Racing Network. Of course, with school and work, I haven't been part of it as much myself, but all these guys do such a fantastic job, and you want to see some great racing like you saw here today. Subscribe to Flatout Racing Network to watch all the great iRacing and NNSCRA broadcasts that these fine people do here at Flatout Racing Network. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Bob Seminara, your race winner here in the 2020 NNSCRA Hallowdega special event. And I say it every year, hope to see you again next year. And hey, 2021, this is my third year doing it. Hope to do it again for the 7th annual Hallowdega special event. Had a blast doing it with Carlos this year. Hopefully I do it with Carlos again next year. And keep this great race going year after year. But either way, on behalf of Carlos Zimmerman and the whole Flatout Racing Network team, Seth Cole, Matthew Rodriguez for letting me call this race, everybody in NNSCRA for putting this race on, and of course to Bob Seminary, your race winner here at Hallowdega. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys later.